It's March 31st, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl or thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A marvelous Monday morning for us all. It's rainy and kind of gross here in Toronto, but the weekend is come and gone, but the weekend will never leave our souls, and you'll never leave the plane of WrestleMania. Jeremy Lambert is here, and the weekend, Jeremy, the weekend is back at WrestleMania. 6th year in a row, baby. How you doing?
Rules. Absolutely rules that he got another WrestleMania theme. I thought it was going to be Fiend. Instead, it's timeless. Timeless, like Tony Storm.
It's just it's an homage. That's what it was. It's apparently Weekend's manager is like this huge wrestling fan, and allegedly that's why they keep making this deal. But like, sure, whatever. I just need 1 year where the Weekend is doing a live performance and he's doing the Grammy thing, but they do it at WrestleMania. Remember when he was at the Grammys and going through all those weird boxes and he couldn't get his way out?
Oh yeah. That's a famous video.
Yeah. Need to do that, but we need to do it at WrestleMania. Because they did it with who was it? Was it WrestleMania with the Fiend? Where they had him coming out. Yeah. When they redid
it came out of the box-like structure.
Yeah. But the entrance to his actual entrance was him getting the recreation. And then he like looked like a brand new Fiend, but he went through the same thing that the Weekend had gone through.
Yeah.
So people were comparing. It was fantastic.
It's one of the greatest matches of all time.
Really is. We need more box-like structures in wrestling.
What a call by Michael Cole. He's coming out of a box-like structure. Like, it's a box. Michael, what are we talking about?
I wonder who made the call to call it a box. We all know who it was, but just calling it that is fantastic. If I ever get an interview with Michael Cole, I will be asking about a box-like structure.
That's like my
you know what? I'm gonna add it to my keep right now for the inevitable day that I get 5 minutes with Michael Cole.
That's like my, you got to ask Braun Strowman about the train noises.
Yep.
Just one of those stupid things that I feel should be asked about.
I'm gonna do it, and if I see Braun on that Mania junket, someone's gonna steal this. I know it. Like the 5 wrestling media people who are going and are watching this right now are gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat him to the punch."
I mean, maybe someone will steal it because they hear us talking about it, but people have had opportunities to ask him this over the years and no one has. That's what's annoyed me so much. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Why are you asking Braun Strowman about anything else but the train noises? Who cares about anything else regarding Braun Strowman? Oh, we'll talk about the Roman feud. I'm not finished with you. Oh, what about working with the Wyatts again? Who cares? Train noises. That's it.
Bootstraps and choo-choos. That's all I care about. Come on, Braun. Country strong. Let's talk about choo-choo trains. I'm going to put on the accent just for that conversation and watch him get real weird about it. Oh, Vegas is going to be... I'm going to get kicked out of Vegas. I'm going to find a way.
That doesn't seem... I don't... Like, is it possible to get kicked out of Vegas?
I don't think it's possible to get kicked out of any city per se, but I mean, one thing you can do is cause enough of a fuss that you get a picture of yourself posted in the security office of every major, strip joint, not literally stripper joint, but like strip, the Las Vegas strip, every place you could go, every hotel, every casino, every theater. That's what people should aspire to. Do not serve this man. And it's just your face. Do not admit.
Don't aspire to that, everybody. Don't do that.
Why not? What's the worst that could happen? You try to fight someone on a rival morning wrestling show?
Yeah.
Matthew Hook saying Joel's going to get purposely kicked out of the U.S. I don't have to purposely try. They might just do it anyway. Don't think my anxiety is not up through the roof over that shit, but we keep going because this is the work that we do. It's Monday. We made it through the weekend. Wasn't a busy weekend. Some stuff came up throughout, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about SmackDown, talk about Collision, talk a little GCW and the pals of ours, and some news that just dropped this morning over on Fightful Select. The best $5.99 in the business. $5.99. Give you a good time. What? That's what it is now, right? We'll give you a good time for $5.99.
If you say so.
Listen, if you got a better pitch, I'd love to hear it. Chat, if you want to do it, comments, you want to do
it. Good. I feel like if you're paying $5.99 for a good time, like you're not gonna have like that great of a time.
Well, then let me tell you that for $9.99, you can also have a better time. That's our tier 2.
I don't feel like $9.99 you're gonna have like a great time.
Well, then I think we have a 50, so $49.99 you can have an even better time.
You're going to Vegas in a couple of weeks, Joel.
Allegedly.
Go just wander the streets and be like, what can I get for $5.99 and see what happens, just ask people around.
I think I've told the story about my my being
you have
accosted. The 2 people. I don't need to tell that story again, but and we'll see what I can get. $5.99 I can find what to do. Now I'm curious about what our other members.
Should I do think you should just man on the streets, show Pearl and be like, what's the best thing you've ever gotten for $5.99? Just ask people that. I feel like who cares about wrestling content? What do you need to ask people about wrestling for?
So
ask about how they spend their money.
I do that. Well, I will, because most of them will be like WrestleMania tickets. Did you see how much they cost this year? They'll be like, they bought them on Klarna or whatever. They
didn't get those for $5.99. So
maybe $599.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for $599, we don't have that tier anymore. We got rid of all the interim tiers because we had a $10, a $50, and then it just jumps up to $1,500. Wasted. But anyway, that's why I got these. And these stupid these clip-ons.
Yeah.
Not strap-ons, clip-ons, so that I could do man on the street interviews. And I can run up to people and be like, for $2, name a woman, and see if they actually do anything about it. Shout out Billy on the street.
You should do that. Just go on the streets, be like, hey, what's the best thing you've ever gotten for $5.99? That's your question. And then see what people say.
And then it's just going to be a giant plug for Fightful Select at the end. I'm all about it.
Yeah. That's at the end. Did you? And then you end it with, well, did you know for $5.99 you could subscribe to Fightful Select? And then that's it. That's the whole bit.
There are going to be so many people just like because of Fightful Select. Be like, oh, right.
We got to ask, find people in wrestling shirts. There'll be plenty of them out there. And then that's how you sell. So I went roller skating this weekend, I should say. Yeah, that's what I did with my weekend. And there was a kid there with a LA Knight shirt. So there you go. Yeah. LA Knight shirt. Just, wandering the streets there. I told the kid, I was like, I really like your shirt. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And then we just started like at the roller rink. We're like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And then the staff people are like, can y'all just like stop yelling? They had to roller skate over to us. And they're like, are y'all okay? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, can you please stop? And we're like, yeah. And then we stopped. But me and this kid, we bonded over his LA Knight shirt.
Never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but I couldn't remember the song. There's a famous rap song. I'm swearing 8.5 minutes in. There's a famous rap song. Come on, the one with the whistle. It's a little
the song that goes
yeah.
Usher?
Is it Usher? Usher? Yeah. It's got the whistle. It's not.
It's literally called Yeah.
It's actually called Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. No way. It's just called Yeah. I hate it here.
I assume that's the song you're talking about, unless you're talking about To the Window, To the Wall.
No, definitely not that one. No.
It's called Yeah. It's Usher, Ludacris, and Lil Jon.
Yeah, there you go. Well, anyway, that's just what they start playing that in the roller rink, and you two are just doing that song. But
they should have. I usually request a song at the roller rink. I didn't request a song this time around though, because I couldn't find the where the DJ booth was. Usually it's like very open and you can like see it, and I couldn't see it. I think I know where it was, but then after we got scolded by the staff for saying yeah too loud, I didn't want to go to the DJ booth and be like, hey, can you play this song? Because then I'd be like, I feel like they would just like look at me funny and be like, no, we will not, because you are causing a ruckus already, so we're not going to accommodate your request.
You have to be more of an adult in these situations, Jeremy. Why won't you be an adult?
Why? Because that's dumb.
No,
I go to the roller rink to have fun, escape adultism.
I get it. Oh my God, put me in a sandwich board hyping Fightful Select sounds awful. I'm gonna do it. Like, every time these ideas get pitched, I think of Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh yeah.
And they send him to all these events where he just makes a fool of himself, but he does it because people are in on the bit. They know who Guillermo is, and like he's part of the ABC family. So like he goes to the Super Bowl, pregame shows and the red carpets, and he has his bits, and it's funny. And I'm like, what could I do to do something like Guillermo would do? First of all, I need a full on camera staff. So we got to start there. And then after that, I got to think of ways to get other people drunk on the street while I don't drink much. Also, I'm not small, nor am I Latino. So I'm not Mexican. So I don't think I can do, I don't think I can do what Guillermo does.
Yeah, I don't know if you just look
White?
dumb as a white person trying to do this.
And they meant me specifically. I just look dumb. What did I do?
Well, just white people in general,
That is fair. Just look my most Jewish self and see what happens. Oi, it's Pesach. Have you eaten your matzah today?
We don't do these accents again. You nearly got us canceled on Friday with these accents.
What did I do? Who did I get us canceled by?
Everybody, Joel. Everybody.
Was it the Scots?
Just everyone.
Nobody likes the Scots. It's fine. Jason in the chat is asking if anyone ever purchased the $1,500 select tier. And yes, actually, Destiny FOMO did. There was about a month and a half where Listen Your Boy, before it was the hump, had Destiny's name and likeness all over it. Yeah, no, people have given the $1,500 tier. They've supported us. We appreciate those people because it gets people like Jeremy and I paid.
This is a fair point by Cyclops is better than Wolverine. I just don't know where that kid's parents were. So he was in an LA Knight shirt on. We just bonded over the wrestling shirt. I wasn't wearing a wrestling shirt though. I was wearing my Kel McCarr shirt, and I had my abs hat on. So he probably just like, oh, what's this weird dude doing talking to me about wrestling? But wrestling fans we're all the same, right? We're all just kind of weird and dumb. So
Vegas is going to be really weird and dumb.
You know what? With 12 children of your own, you don't need bonding with any other children. Fair. Usually when, like, if this kid had a Cody Rhodes shirt on, I told the story before, but we went out to the fair one year, this past year actually, and this one kid had a Cody Rhodes shirt on, and I took the 12 kids up to this Cody Rhodes kid, and I made all the kids put the ones in the air, and this Cody Rhodes kid was very scared. He's like, oh shit, this white Samoan tribe is gonna jump me here, all these Roman Reigns stands, all because I'm a Cody fan. That's what I should have done with the 12 kids. I should have approached this LA Knight kid and just throw the one up and be done with it. But no, I decided to be nice to the LA Knight fan. It's tough out there for them.
Chat's asking about our Twitch. So it's not that we don't co-stream anymore. It's that somebody changed the password and I don't know who it was. And I need to update the information in StreamYard where we do our streaming if we want to bring back co-streaming on Twitch to StreamYard. That's why. Not like our views on Twitch were like super through the roof.
Yeah, Twitch would have gone. I mean, Twitch went well while it went well, and then I got 12 kids, and then I had no time to stream video games and whatnot. I couldn't. So yeah.
We just moved everything over. That's fine. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, Kylie stole the stream key on the way out. No, Kylie's still around. It's fine.
I think Kylie's still around. Haley might have.
Haley might have done it. Yeah. No, this was 2 weeks ago. This started where I was like trying to set it up again. I was just telling the chat like 2 weeks ago. I was like, why am I having this problem? And then I went to change the password, or I went to put in the password, and the password didn't work. I was like, okay. But then I also noticed nobody's done anything with it, so I feel like it's nothing malicious as much as it is somebody just changed the password and we just haven't updated it. That's all.
I think it was because they got tired of the passcode just going to me when I wasn't logging on regularly. And so they're like, we're just going to change it so the passcode just goes to me now, me being whoever changed it. So
it's going to screw us eventually. It's fine. Listen, if we start streaming and it's just the Twitch account, first of all, nobody's watching anyway. But second of all, if you see it and it's all just like invest in this coin, it's a scam. We've been hacked. Unless it's WWE coin, at which point it's completely accurate and you should invest. I'm gonna keep using it.
So are we trying to pass off here?
Yeah, big scam.
Okay.
You know it's not a big scam? Leaving a thumbs up on the video. You got that pyro for the sign? I need that pyro. Yeah, coming right out of the sign. You point to it and pyro comes out of it. Go ahead, point to the sign season, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. We're trying to get to that 20,000 mark. We got 2 weeks to do it, and we need your help. So tell your friends, subscribe to Overbooked, tell them about In the Weeds, tell them about Wrestling Made Me Cry, tell them about Coexisting, tell them about the Spotlight, tell them about all the shows here and all the content here and all the interviews here, because that's going to get people doing the thing. And our shorts as well are pretty fun, especially the ones that then tell Jeremy to go outside. Those are the best. Wait, before we get into that, also super chats. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air that also supports us financially. We appreciate those, and you guide the conversation a little further than how we veer off with reckless abandon. Jeremy, go touch some grass. Stop doing drugs.
What's funny about that? I'm sorry, I was making sure I wasn't running over my laptop cord. What's funny about that is that's probably like that comment was probably posted like as I was roller skating. So that's when I like actually was outside. So now that short, I don't even like that short. I was just kind of lazy on Saturday, to be honest. I was like, what's something simple to do that like I don't have to think about what happened this week, and I don't have to like find a video that might get copyright struck, and I can just post very easily to do. I was like, that intro I did on Thursday where I was crying and singing a Jack Harlow song and eating ice cream cake, we'll just do. Like, that was me at one of my laziest points. And I'm not often lazy, but Joel knows, and other people sort of like, it's been a week. It has been a week. And so Saturday, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do something simple and that be it. And the sad thing is like, I'm looking at it now, like it's doing just as well as like any other of our shorts. Like, it really doesn't matter. So yeah.
It had to get out there, man. It's a big deal when Vanilla Baby gets dropped like this. Listen, we even made like the thumbnail for today's show isn't the original thumbnail. The original thumbnail was something completely different. I showed it to our group chat, which also upset SP3, which made it even better. But like the original, I'm trying to wait for it to upload. This was the original thumbnail.
Yeah.
This was the original deal. Because once again, Blake Christian can't get a win. Too bad he's gonna win the television title. He's gonna beat Commander.
He should have won the television title in the first place, but
in that 6-way scramble when they had it.
Yeah, but they had to put it on Commander. And how's that working out? Has he defended that thing? I feel like he did like a proving ground match that went to a time limit draw against QT, and then he beat QT, and then he did another proving ground match. Or no, they didn't do another proving. Maybe he did do another proving ground match.
He did. Oh no, he went to another. Draw, didn't he?
No, the one that went to the draw is Lee Johnson and somebody. It was for a shot at the television title, but it went to a draw. So I assume they'll run that back. Look at me trying to pretend that I remember what goes on in ROH World. I feel like I'm close.
He's had this thing for a while. Hold on.
Yeah, he has.
He's had it since the end of December. He has put it on the line 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
Allegedly.
Whether you've seen it or not, it has happened. Vol, I'm just cooking you in the chat. My God.
What I do?
Vanilla Fumble sounds like Jeremy when he has to use a bidet instead of toilet paper.
I've never used the bidet.
No? You American swine, you.
Okay, it was AR Fox and Kevin Knight that went to a 10-minute time limit draw, and that was a number 1 contendership match. for the television title. That's what I was thinking of. The Lee Johnson was Lee Johnson and Commander. That's what went to a time limit draw for the in a proving ground match, and then Commander defended the title against Lee Johnson. So I got my time limit draws confused. Well, but I kind of knew what was going on.
Blake Christian should be the television champion. Maybe he'll win it at Supercard in May. That's what they should do.
That show doesn't actually exist. Let's pretend that it doesn't.
Are you calling it an industry plant? Is that what you're doing? The show doesn't exist?
Yeah.
It's not WrestleMania weekend, so it doesn't count. It's 3 weeks after WrestleMania. 2 weeks, actually.
Yeah.
Dynasty's coming up this weekend. It's this weekend, Jeremy, not next weekend.
Oh man, there's wrestling this weekend. That sucks.
I know we were treated so nicely on Sunday with a calming, easy, no wrestling Sunday. Now we gotta do it again this Sunday. Can't win.
That's unfortunate that there's wrestling this weekend. They should not do that.
What do you think of the news with Collision moving to Thursday? I think we kind of touched on it last week. They're moving the Collision on WrestleMania week to Thursday, the Boston show. So Spring Breakthrough is on the Wednesday, and then they were also going to have a Thursday Collision taping that has now been moved to instead of airing it on Saturday, they're going to air it live on Thursday for Collision. So Spring Breakthrough is basically a 2-night event. I'm a fan of that personally from a promotional standpoint. Also, it's through WrestleMania week. So to take it off of WrestleMania Saturday, move it to Thursday, I think it's a smart idea. What did you think when you saw that this was the case for AEW?
I thought great. It doesn't change what I got to do this weekend. It makes Saturday a little bit easier because, last year, WrestleMania was at its normal time. It wasn't friggin' the end of April. So it was at its normal, it would have been this past weekend, most likely for WrestleMania. Maybe a week
or next week.
Yeah, next week, because it's usually the Raw after Mania is typically the same night as the NCAA Final Four. So it would have been probably this weekend. So yeah, when last year, Collision, that was the infamous Collision where they announced they were going to air the All-In footage on that Wednesday on Dynamite. So yeah, that was a busy Saturday because you had WrestleMania Saturday, and Collision didn't air until 11 o'clock because they waited until after the NCAA tournament games. So The Rock's doing his press conference at the same time that they're announcing that All-In footage is going to air. That was a wild little night there. But I don't mind that's on Thursday, because Thursday, there's the taped Impact show until the live Impact show. There will be some indie events and stuff running, but it's fine. It's a little bit better because it allows a little more focus for me personally as a watcher, allows just a little more focus on WrestleMania stuff. And I don't have to turn my attention. Okay, what's going on Collision here? And that's easier for me on a Saturday night, but it's just a lot of wrestling that week. It doesn't change anything. And that I do like that it's live on Thursday as opposed to being a taped show on Saturday, because the tape shows they're good. They're easy in a sense that, okay, I know the segments and matches that are going to happen, so I can pre-write some stuff, but they suck in a sense that they don't do the videos for those shows. They don't air those live. So you still got to pay attention to all the video stuff. And they throw in so many videos of oh, now this is something and this is something and this is something. So I much prefer a live show over a tape show regardless.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I'm going to be able to watch it maybe. No, I'm not. Who am I kidding? I'm going to be busy as hell. And also there's Unbreakable. There's taped Impact. I don't know where I'm going to be. There's Bloodsport as well at the same time for those who are watching that. So I'm just going to have to play it by ear. But I'm going to eventually watch Collision. But the fact that they're doing it live, I like that idea. I like that a lot better than trying to air it against WrestleMania Saturday. That's not an easy thing to do. And especially when there's all these the talk about the ratings and people get weird, and I don't care personally, but at least if you do it on a Thursday, it does two things. One, the things I just said about getting ahead of WrestleMania, and two, it's kind of a testing point. It's potentially a testing point for moving Collision to Thursday. That's not me reporting anything. That's not me, talking anything. It's just, to me, it could also read as, let's see how we do on a Thursday night. Let's see if people really want to watch us on a night that's typically completely unencumbered from wrestling. Like we talked about it with TNA and ROH being two tape shows that just air once in a while, TNA's live, but otherwise it's pretty quiet on the wrestling front on a Thursday night. So if we can move Collision to a Thursday, let's see what the buzz is like. Are people going to be interested in watching, or are they going to just kind of exist and we'll catch it when we catch it? So that's the big question that persists with Collision.
Somebody asking, is there no NBA that night? Because typically there's a Thursday night NBA game on TNT. That would be the time the play-ins start. And I don't know who has rights to the play-ins. Typically TNT has one of the games, and then or one of the conferences, I should say. And ESPN has another conference. So obviously the TNT schedule is set. I mean, I can look at it right now here. You know what? Let's pull up the TNT schedule and let's see when we got a little bit of basketball and the play-in games. So the play-in start on the 15th. There's a play-in game on TNT on the 15th, which is Tuesday, and then Wednesday there's hockey on TNT, and then there's AEW on Thursday, and the other play-in game is the Friday. So I'm going to assume that the play-ins are on ESPN on Wednesday and Thursday, because TNT has Tuesday and Friday. So there you go.
Or we're going to run into the same problem we did with Grand Slam, and hopefully they don't have to.
The schedule is that, Joel. I'm literally looking at the TNT schedule.
Looking at, but I also know what people have, I know what we did last time. I'm trying to throw dirt on AEW because that's what we do on the show, Jeremy.
No, don't do that. AEW's been good.
How dare you? Well, actually, it's been okay. Let's face it. There's been some stuff that's been fine. We'll talk about Collision. Yeah, like Henry's got it. Henry knows. I allegedly hate AEW. That's what I'm here for.
I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to lie to the viewers either about the scheduling.
Well, it's not you lying. It's me asking questions, Jeremy. That's how it goes. More people should be asking questions, allegedly, is what we've been told.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Don't make Joel speak good of AEW. I will say this. This episode of Collision from Saturday night was a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed a lot of it. One of the things that I especially enjoyed was that opening segment and sequence with Toni Storm, especially the end of the segment. I thought her approaching the camera close up and then getting booted in the face by Penelope Ford looked really good on camera, and it played off really well for TV. That stuff, when you play with the camera and you have different ideas than the traditional airing of pro wrestling, when it works, it works perfectly. So I thought that the camera work was really well done. There was some fun stuff, good stuff. And again, Megan Bayne continues to beat the shit out of Toni Storm going into Dynasty, as she should. It's a good segment.
I thought all of Collision was good, outside of Blake Christian losing. That was,
my God,
that was nonsensical. But otherwise, I thought all of Collision was really good. And the Owen for the women's is fantastic right now. I know they're doing the full bracket reveal on Wednesday, but it's a really strong lineup. I like that Athena finally came back to AEW television, and we'll see how long she's sticking around there. And Statlander's in the tournament, Thunder Rosa, Mercedes, Billy. We think Billy. Tony Schiavone was like, Billy's also in the tournament, and then they didn't mention it again. Maybe they mentioned it during the main event between Billy and Statlander, but it was a weird. I know that Queen Aminata was supposed to obviously be in that match and everything. Did they not really have anyone else? It was just strange that when Mercedes announced she was going to be in the tournament, and Tony Schiavone's like, "Oh, there's a lot of great competitors, including Billy Starks," and then the main event was Jamie Hayter against Billy Starks, and they're both in the tournament. I'm like, why are you doing this match here when both of these women are in the tournament? It feels like Billy shouldn't be in the tournament, and I love Billy, but it feels like she shouldn't be in the tournament. That's the only thing, because she hasn't really won on television, and you just basically did a tournament match, and then they're like, Billy's going to be in the tournament still. It was a weird call.
So two things. One, Schiavone all night was doing stuff like that, which was funny because they, in the middle of the Kevin Knight match, he was just like, and Kevin Knight, who's all elite, by the way, it was very funny. And then if he's talking about Billy potentially being in the Owen, there's two masters that you serve through this. One is the Athena story. We'll touch on Athena showing up on AEW, finally coming to work Saturdays and Wednesdays on prime time. No, we'll get there. But with Billy, they've been putting her on TV more with the hopes that she will continue to do it. That's one. And also, if she's going to be a second for Athena and they're still telling the story of Billy's a big failure, then maybe the story for the Owen is that Billy starts to rack up a few wins while we're still doing Athena versus Mercedes. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something to Billy going further in the Owen than Athena would. And in that first round, if you do, or maybe second round, you do a rematch of Billy versus Jamie Hayter, then they can play up. Well, in the first time these two met up, blah, 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 in Collision, she was replacing Queen Aminata on the last minute. Now she has more time to prepare, and then maybe Billy gets the win this time. And it builds Billy as more credible, as someone who learns, and as someone who's a credible babyface. Not that Jamie Hayter isn't also a babyface, but it's tournament, so it's just going to be what it is. I think that there's room for that. The only problem is if you go back to ROH land, how do you tell the story about the women's championship with Billy and with Athena? And that's been ongoing for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. This is kind of, again, this is where what you're saying makes sense. But the way I see it is you could have a story where Billy goes further than Athena. Maybe I don't want to say this out loud because I think people are going to think like I am, that it's maybe not the best idea. You're not going to burn Athena and Mercedes in like a first or second round match. But if you did, and Mercedes won, then maybe the final or close to it, if they're on opposite side of the brackets, is Billy and Mercedes.
Billy's not making the final.
I don't know. That's kind of why I'm taking this in a vacuum and why I'm not like giving it much credence, more than just the idea that one makes it further than the other. And then if they're going to go all the way back to the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, then we got to do the Billy the third time's the charm, Jeremy. And then we're just doing it again. And Billy finally gets the big one and beats Athena, and Athena goes on to do whatever at All in Texas. Just get the damn belts off of her. But the point of the Billy conversation here is that if she's going to be a part of the Owen Hart Cup tournament, then it's in service of Billy and building her as a more credible a more credible member of the roster who actually wins and doesn't just show up, have good matches, and loses.
I would prefer if she won a match in the tournament. I just don't know if she will. And again, it's just curious booking of, if she's in this tournament, why is she losing to somebody else in this tournament in a main event match? One, I don't think she should be losing regardless if she's going to be in this tournament. I would give people in this tournament like some victories. I know she just faced Mercedes and lost, but this was, pre everybody being announced for the tournament and everything. I just wouldn't have done what is essentially a tournament match after both people have been announced for the tournament in the main event and had one of them lose. Like somebody mentioned who was Henry saying Deeb was right there. Yeah, I would have just done Jamie and Serena Deeb, and Jamie can beat Serena Deeb, and that be that. Move forward and keep Billy a little strong going into things. But it was still a great match, and it was nice to see Billy Starks in like a main event spot there. Like, it was like all of that was good, and the actual match itself, no issue with that. I would not have done effectively a tournament match before you announce the tournament bracket and had one of the competitors lose.
Maybe it's a wild card.
Maybe Shivani just misspoke and Billy Starks isn't even in the tournament. Maybe Athena is like, I pulled you from the tournament because you lost and you got to prove yourself more. And if that's the case, fine. You know what? I'll take back what I said and said, you know what? They did a good job of course correcting on this. But until that happens, this is my thoughts on what did happen.
So let's say Billy is not part of it and you still have to fill out the field. If Queen Aminata is cleared in time, you can put Queen in, or you can do a Queen versus Serena Deeb. Winner goes on to the tournament. Or if Queen Aminata is not cleared, you could use Billy as a substitute again, do Billy versus Serena Deeb, winner gets into the tournament. Almost like a, hey, you both been on the show, but you both haven't done much. You're both not winning. So here's your last chance to get into the tournament. It's a way in. It's a way to give a win to somebody, get them in, and whether they lose in the first match or if they have a big run, whatever it is, it at least creates some sort of interest in either Serena Deeb or Billy Starks or Queen Aminata in this case, whichever three of them out of the three would make it. There's something at least available there.
That's a possibility. I don't hate that idea because at least somebody gets a victory going into the tournament. But they're just supposed to announce the bracket on Wednesday, though. Oh, unless they do like a qualifier to get that last spot, then they're just going to reveal the bracket on Wednesday.
Did they say 8-8, or is it 4-4? Is it 16-6? It's not 16. I don't have 32 women to go from.
I don't think they're doing 32. They didn't fully say. I don't believe. I think the assumption is 8-8 because that's what it's been. When they posted the bracket graphic, it was the 8-8. So I think that's why everyone would assume it's just going to be 8-8.
Yeah. All right. So a field of 16 at least, which that they can cover. And there are enough women.
It's not a field of 16. It's a field of 8.
Oh, you're saying 4-4. I was saying 8-8. Not 8 men, 8 women. Sorry, I was saying 8-8.
Oh, okay.
You're saying 4-4 so 4 on each side is the field for a bracket. So the women's bracket would be 4 on one side, 4 on the other.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how I'm reading this bracket.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay, you're reading it as 8 women.
That's how they've done it in the past, right?
The first one, I think they did only 16. Been 8. I think they did a 16 bracket the first year, and then they brought it down to 8 the next year. I'm going to wait for you to unfreeze so we can pick that up. Okay. Yeah, that was the way. There you go. You're back.
Okay. That's how they've done it. That's how they've done it in the past. It was 8 people, and that's how this bracket looks. It's going to be 8 people.
First year was a 16 though, right? And then after that they moved to 8.
No.
Maybe the men's was a 16. The first year. Owen Hart Tournament. Now I got to look this up.
I don't think it's ever been 16. I'm fairly certain it's just always been 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. First year was a field of 16.
What do you mean first year was a field of 16?
2022. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then there was a bye for Johnny Elite for the wild card, unless these are people getting in on it. I'm looking at Wikipedia for a second.
Yeah,
I'm counting.
I guess the first year. I guess the first year they did have.
Field of 16. Field. Yeah, it was a field of 16 on the first year, and then they moved to 8 for the last few years. Okay, so I'm not crazy. They did qualifying matches. They're saying so. I'm still counting that because those qualifiers still fed into the actual building of the. Building of the brackets.
Okay.
All right. Well, regardless, if they're going to do an 8-person field on both sides, then you would just, you'd have those people feed in and see where it goes. I was hoping for 16. I thought you could do 16, showcase a few women that you aren't necessarily putting on TV much, who deserve an opportunity to at least have a TV match, but there's only so much TV time that you can dedicate to something like this. So I can't be upset about it, but now you just got to stack those 8 spots with the best of your fields.
You know what they should do instead of this tournament? Like, okay, cool tournament idea. It's kind of lame, right? Like a wrestling tournament. We see that every few months. Instead of all that, you know what they should do? They should like play bingo, and that's how they decide who wins the tournament.
What what? Bingo?
Yeah. I want like all the 8 competitors just like sitting around with their bingo cards. You only get one. You don't get to play multiple cards, okay? You play one bingo card. And then it's just, Tony Schiavone's doing the Tumblr and he's like B19. And you stamp it or you put whatever, however you're going to cover your card. And the first person that gets bingo wins.
No.
Why not?
Bingo?
Yeah.
Big litter. Bingo? What? All right, whatever. Cakewalk is more. Yeah, a cakewalk I consider. So it's got to be something at least a little physical. Bingo. What's wrong with you? This may be.
Why do you hate on bingo?
Because I'm under the age of 65. Yes, you should be running the NWA. It should be bingo, and every line is not that line. Oh, this is awful. What are we doing here? Bingo.
So here's how my brain works, everybody.
It doesn't. Spoiler alert.
Fair. So when I was like coming up with this, what can we do instead of wrestling matches? Legitimately, my first thought was like, they just pull a name out of the hat and that person should win. And then like, as I was thinking of this idea, literally as I was like speaking the words of, what they should do, instead of pulling a name out of the hat, I went to bingo and was like, let's just throw bingo out there. So I went from pulling a name out of the hat and that's who should win the tournament to bingo. At least that's a competition, at least that's a little bit more. You get something more out of it than, all right, let's just pull a name out of the hat. I don't know what's wrong with bingo. Why do you guys hate bingo?
Because they're not 65. I don't know.
You don't have to be 65 to play bingo.
There's a bingo hall down the street. Doesn't have wrestling, unfortunately, live wrestling. But I could walk to this bingo hall. And I could go. I choose not to go there because the people that I see going into this bingo hall, unfortunately, they don't do wrestling again. But this bingo hall does not have anyone under the age of 60. And anyone who is under that age is absolutely not looking good for anything they're doing in their life.
All right, you know what? I'm going to pitch this idea to Janela for the senior scramble to do a bingo spot in the middle of it. Okay.
That's funny because they're all over the age of 65.
Yeah, it's okay. So, all right. I'm going to do this publicly. Hello at Janela, baby.
No one's going to see it now because you tagged them.
I know. I believe. Oh, wait, hold on. Have you thought of incorporating a bingo spot into the senior scramble? This would get a huge pop. Thanks for your consideration.
P.S. ITW next week.
I've made my public pitch to Joey Janela to do a bingo spot in the senior scramble.
It is there. I have retweeted it.
I don't know why you guys are against bingo.
The noble sport of bingo.
Yeah.
It's the power slap of laziness, Jeremy.
The power slap of laziness. Wow.
Although, given the way that the U.S. focuses on education, maybe it's going to become a very important use for knowledge.
I think this bingo spot would get over.
I love Ryan Lambert adding in they need to Metamucil or a Centrum Silver sponsorship for the scramble. Oh, incredibly accurate. That's what we need.
I feel like this would work.
No, stop it.
Why won't these wrestling companies hire me to come up with ideas for them?
Well, I think we just kind of figured out the reason why.
I have great ideas. I have outside the box like structure ideas. All these basic bitch ass ideas that all these companies have. You get your WrestleMania main event. Okay. There's no story there. Just like, look, you're a WrestleMania main eventer, but there's another favor. That's boring.
So SmackDown goes off the air this week. Perfect timing, by the way, 45 minutes. Good on you. You know the clock game. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins come down to the ring to sign the contract for their match. There's no physicality. Shocking. Didn't need Nick Aldis to tell them not to. They all had security details on the way in, which I love the reaction to the security when the wrestlers walk in front and then the security detail come up behind them and they're just like, what is this shit? All right, whatever. I guess we're doing this now. That was the best. They all come out one by one. Roman Reigns gets sung to for 20 minutes and says, "Oh, acknowledge me." And then Seth Rollins comes out and says, "I hate all of you." And then CM Punk comes out and says, "No, I hate all of you more. But I got to read this contract because I don't do anything without reading the contract now." CM Punk is now contract mandate Punk. That is what he does.
Roman Reigns ruled. He's like, "Do you need a highlighter or something?" Like, A, B, C, today, Billy Madison. Today, Junior.
TV time. Come on, kid. He said it like Article 5, Section C. Come on, it's right there. And Punk's just like, hold on. I wish to God that he had just pulled out his cheaters and just been like, okay, let's take a look. But instead, he goes, he finds it. He starts crying like a little... Anyway, and Paul Heyman's like, it's right there, just like I told you it would be. It's beautiful. The WrestleMania main event. It's a terrible Paul Heyman. I don't know why he sounds like Yoda. Or Yoda.
Paul Heyman's always terrible.
No, it's usually a lot better. But anyway, point is, tells him he's got the main event. Punk starts crying like a little girl, little baby. I shouldn't say a little girl because men can cry too. We do cry. And he says, and he says, you know, Roman Reigns comes out. He's just like, you acknowledge me. I did this, not you. This is all me. And then Punk's like, all right, I acknowledge you. And he starts getting a little sarcastic. And then he says, by the way, that's not the favor. And that's it. We go off the air, all because the European crowd, all because those Londoners, you sneaky Londoners, couldn't stop chanting throughout the night. And these stupid wrestlers couldn't stop enjoying and basking in the adulation. You are part of the problem, Europe. You are part of the problem. CM Punk is now a main eventer at WrestleMania, but it's not the favorite, Jeremy. Unfortunately, remember last week when I was like, it doesn't make sense for him to have a match where he wins and then goes and joins the main event for night 2. Unfortunately, I'm starting to give a little credence to the possibility of that being the case, all because nothing of this shit makes sense, and it's just starting to prove it. And that would be very funny if they got away with it.
But how is that the favor, though? Because that would imply that Punk just knows he's going to win. I guess he can feel very confident that he's going to win. But how is that the favor of, I'm going to win and then you're going to get me into the main event for the next night? Because if he doesn't win, then what's the favor?
Well, not that. Then this whole conversation is moot because we would have never known that was the favor. The favor is whatever nebulous thing. It's money in the bank. He basically has money in the bank. And that's what we're waiting on, is when does he cash in? And that's kind of the problem with the story, is it can literally be anything, and we won't know until later on when Fightful Select will report it, that this is that this was the plan, or this wasn't the plan and they called the audible. So we won't know. That's kind of the problem, and the excitement of all this. It's weird.
What if this is the favor and Punk's just saying it's not to fuck with Roman Reigns some more?
So yes, I thought about that. There was another thing that I'd seen kind of floated around, and at first I wasn't really paying attention to it. And then I remembered you and I talked about this. Nothing that happens in this story with the bloodline throughout the entirety of it, whenever Paul Heyman was a part of it, never once did it feel like Paul didn't plan everything meticulously, from the blocking to the dress to the conversation, not the conversation, the dialogue, everything. And then you started noticing that lately, the way that Paul Heyman dresses might actually play into whose side he's on or who he's working for at any given time. The week before he comes out, he's wearing the shirt with the suits. And they did the whole tease where you put Roman on a silver platter for me. It's very casual, Paul Heyman. The suit is there, but he's wearing a t-shirt. Nobody wears that t-shirt. And then the week next, he comes out. He's with Roman Reigns to sign the contract. He's wearing shirt and tie. He's a very Paul Heyman bloodline guy. Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns guy. The way he's been dressing, those are just two examples. This is the last 2 weeks. But if you go back, you can see that the way that he's dressing actually might play into what his position is in the CM Punk dynamic. And there will be people writing a billion think pieces on it, but I thought that that was something interesting that I came across, and I was like, okay, there's actually some proof in here. So if he shows up at WrestleMania and he's wearing, Paul Heyman's wearing like the t-shirt or whatever again, maybe he is going to side with Punk. Maybe that's the favor, is that you're going to corner me at WrestleMania and not Roman Reigns. Maybe the favor is you won't know until I ask for it. Because again, Money in the Bank type of stipulation. I don't know. But I found it interesting that he said that's not the favor. Could be using it to get in Roman's head further. But then Seth Rollins just looks like a giant bitch.
Well, Roman did enough of that on Friday when Seth is like, well, remember we came in on the helicopter and we did all this, but you were now letting CM Punk, you let the snake into the garden. Roman hit him with the Uncle Phil. We ain't do shit around here. I did all of this. I built this company. I'm the one who took it to these heights. You weren't. You just rode the coattails like everybody else, brother. This was the Roman Reigns I wanted, by the way, when we were talking on Friday. I was like, this is the Roman we need. We need the sarcastic, cocky Roman Reigns for this segment. And that's what we got. It ruled. I did also love when Punky got his WrestleMania main event and he was crying. He was so happy. I did, because I said this beforehand. I said this leading up to it. I said, what's the main event, Joel? What's a guaranteed main event match? Roman Reigns. You want to be in one of those main event matches, you face Roman Reigns. I don't care if there's a title, non-title, does not matter. Roman, for the last decade, outside of one night, has been in the main event. And I guess you can count the pandemic one, because he didn't work that show. He would have been the main event had he worked that show. But outside of one WrestleMania, he's been the main event in all of these WrestleManias for the last decade. It's like, so that's your main event right there. And what does Roman do when after Punk gets his main event? You're welcome. Acknowledge me. Thank me for this spot. Because if it was you and Seth, that wouldn't be no main event. You're here because I'm here.
Find it very funny that we were talking about this throughout the entirety of it. Meanwhile, Roman, I go back all the time to that WrestleMania 39 easy for me to say, post-show press conference, where they do the bottom of the third, and Roman had also added in, everything I do is in service of my family. Well, what happens when his family wins the Royal Rumble, gets a guaranteed shot at WrestleMania, and hypothetically would have been a main eventer if they'd done the original, the Royal Rumble gets a main event spot being the last on the card. And he's just like, sorry, Lelouch, it's my time for night one. you go win in the opener, that'll set the tone, and then we'll see you later. See you at the Golden Corral, brother.
That ain't Roman's fault that they've completely botched
Of
this
course.
whole Jey Uso stuff.
Of course, it's just easy to harken back and just be like, remember when Roman said this was in support of his family, and then he basically told his family, nah, we're cool, don't worry, I got this.
That's another thing that I said the other week is, like, if you don't think your Royal Rumble winner can main event WrestleMania, it probably shouldn't be a Royal Rumble winner. And both Royal Rumble winners are not going to main event WrestleMania, which that's their call. And they're right, by the way. I don't think the Jey Uso and Gunther story is good enough to main event. I don't think the Charlotte and Tiffany story is good enough to main event. I do think Bianca, Rhea, and Io can get there. They've only got a few more weeks with it. But Roman, Punk, and Seth is is the big match, and that's why it's gonna main event one of the nights.
And again, like I've been saying, this and the Damian Priest Drew McIntyre match both have some sort of number one contendership vibes to it, given the quality of the opponents on the card. Like it would be very safe to say that whoever wins both matches, those victors are going to come out after WrestleMania and be like, I won, I'm the guy, I should be the next number one contender for this title or that title. That's kind of what I'm expecting is between those two matches. You'll see, especially if Drew comes out, because Drew's not winning. That's the other thing too. Drew's not winning matches. So this could turn into him beating Damian Priest at WrestleMania and just kind of moving past it and saying, I deserve a shot at the title, whichever one that is. Him and Jey Uso for the title. Let's go. That's a hot open for some people.
Yeah. CM Punk got his WrestleMania main event. Good for him.
Night one on a 2-night buy one.
Do you think
everyone's doing that one?
Do you think Seth like Nancy Kerrigan's him?
What is it with you in these shoutouts today? Bingo, now this? Jesus,
Yeah.
man. Going to the
Like-
roller rink with the kids? Jesus Christ. How 80s can you get?
And I'm just wondering, because Seth was clearly very upset that CM Punk is finally getting a main event. Do you think that, night before WrestleMania, Punk is just clutching his knee? Oh, who took out Punk? And Seth did it because he's like, this man is not main eventing as long as I'm here.
How funny would it be if they ran an angle at one of those stupid WrestleMania after parties?
Oh.
And
Okay.
that's the angle. I mean, it's more likely that they'll do something in the mid card with it. But could you imagine CM Punk was at this WrestleMania after party, at which point everyone's like, red flag, wait, what? And then Seth Rollins came out of nowhere, bottle of Patron right over his head, and then capped him in the knees afterwards. That's how we get to this match. Now it's going to be Roman Reigns one-on-one with Seth Rollins. And everyone's going to be like, what happened? That's how they should do it. They should just run that angle. But I do think that they might run an After Dark angle, at least on the well, actually they can do it any of the nights except for Sunday. Gronk and Flow Rider were like, none of that wrestling bullshit on our night. Just do it anywhere else, just not on our nights. Flow Rider's like, I got songs to sing.
They should do it at the Hall of Fame. Ain't doing anything else special for the Hall of Fame.
No, they're inducting matches.
That's a good call, by the way.
I mean, yeah, UFC has been doing it for a long time, so
Yeah.
like it kind of made sense to be doing it. At first I was just like, all right, you know what it did do? This was kind of something I thought about. It kind of tipped their hand on that social every day, the best matches of WrestleMania.
I thought about this too. Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if that just means that number one is that match.
That's what I thought. I was like, so does this mean this is number one, or are they basically saying there are actually better matches than Austin and Brett, but we couldn't get these guys for the induction, so we got Austin and Brett. They're two big names, and this is how we're going to do the induction. It feels like whatever is number one, they could probably get for the induction, though. It's not like they're going to go super outside of the box for whatever number one's going to be.
I mean, I know what number one should be, and I think you can get Johnny Knoxville to a WrestleMania.
Sammy's there. You can get Knoxville there. Like,
Yeah.
I think because the list is like, it's a WWE list, right? Like, it doesn't have a rhyme or a reason for it. It's not necessarily like the best matches. It just feels like it's greatest in grandeur type of matches. So like Hogan and Rock might actually be really high up. It might be number one. And do you really want Hogan doing anything right now? Would Rock would show up to another Hall of Fame just so he could little brother Triple H. He'd be like, I'm going, you're that. No, this match is going on last. We didn't get to go on last at WrestleMania 18. We're going on last for this Hall of Fame ceremony.
I love the idea. Well, you want to return my text about inducting me, but this is what you want to do.
But
So-
I thought of the same thing of that list. I was like, oh, so they just tipped that Austin and Rock or Austin and Brett is number one, or are they basically saying, yeah, this is a really important match, but it's actually not the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, and we just couldn't get the guys who were in the greatest WrestleMania match of all time?
Have they put the triple threat from 32, the women's title match? Has that been announced as one of them? I know they're at like 20.
I mean,
feel like
maybe.
that'll be, I feel like that'll be one of them, or Trish and Mickey from 22, probably be one of them. They got to put in a few of the women's matches in there.
I figure the 35 match will be there.
Yeah.
That'll probably be top 10, honestly.
Yeah, the Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky, that could be one of them for sure. Then there was another one that I was like, Bianca and Mercedes should be up there. I just don't know if they're going to put it up there. Again, when Rebel Survivor immediately goes to Bianca Mercedes, and like it deserves to be there for a multitude of reasons. I just don't know if they'll put it up there because because it's AEW, right?
Yeah, they're not putting that up there. Sorry.
They should put Charlotte and Ronda just so they could put all big dick Charlotte on the table.
That match wasn't.
No, it was just the whole she went over time and everything that came out of that is why it should be number 2 or number 1.
Yeah. Cause like the list is like, it's fine. It's not like it's bad or anything. I don't ever think you can have like a bad list when it comes to this. There's just so many great wrestling matches. The 32 matches there, by the way, it was ranked number 31. So, yeah. So that match made it. That's the only women's match so far, unless you're going to count Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious that match made the list.
Great match. So they've done this before. They did this 35 matches in 2019. WWE did.
Oh, what was number 1 for that?
Number 1 was Michaels and Taker. That was the
first one,
the 25th anniversary WrestleMania. Yeah, the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they have Michaels and Taker, the second one, at number 26, the streak versus career match.
Gotcha. So that'll probably be number 2, which means that Steve.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can find some indiscrepancies. They're only up to 17, so it might be a little difficult. Oh, Sasha and Bianca, by the way, is here. That's number 19. So
okay, so it's there. Great. Yeah. Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin is number 3 in that 2019 list.
Okay.
So 3, and then 2 is Savage Steamboat, and 1 is Michaels and Taker, the first one.
Okay. Did they have Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels from 21 ranked?
That's number 5.
Okay, it is 22 on this list.
They're just doing shit.
So apparently that didn't age well compared to some other matches.
That's fantastic. And I was like, when you said that, I'm like, they've already put it on this year's list.
Yeah, it is 22.
What else do you see there?
Where is
there yet?
No. Where is Undertaker Triple H Hell in a Cell?
Oh, that's got to be here. Okay, so streak versus career, by the way, is 13 on the 2019 list.
Okay.
I'm looking for the Hell in a Cell match. Oh, where is it? It's Brian. Is it not on? Oh, here we go. 21.
Okay, that's fairly similar. It's 18 on this year's list. So
and keep in mind, this is 6 years apart, right? 2019, 2025. Yeah. So we're 5-6 years apart.
All right. What about Kurt and Brock?
Kurt and Brock, I saw that 16.
It's 17 this year. What's 6 through 10? Go through those right fast.
Okay, 6 through 10. I gotta go down here. That number 10, it's Michael's Flair at 24. That was the career versus streak. I love you. I'm sorry.
That's sorry, real quickly. That's 34 on this year's list.
This is a hilarious list. Brett and Owen at 10 is number 9.
I don't think. Let's see if we have Brett and Owen. No, we don't have Brett and Owen on this year's list yet.
Shawn and Brett in the Iron Man match at 12 is number 8.
All right, that's not on this year's list yet.
It's gonna get a higher listing because Shawn's back, baby. Yeah. Shawn and Razor from WrestleMania 10, the ladder match, is number 7.
All right, that's not on this year's list.
TLC 1 from WrestleMania X7. Oh, it's TLC 2 from WrestleMania X7. That is number 6.
That's not on this year's list either. Okay. So a couple of, indiscrepancies on these lists, but what can you do? It's a WWE list.
Redman's asking if Brian and Danielson is in there, and yes, it is. It's low. Number 20? 19.
It's 28. It's 28 on this show. Oh wait, Brian and Triple H or the Triple Threat?
No, Brian and Triple H, because the Triple Threat's also in here later on.
Yeah, that's what they did this year too. So Brian and Triple H is 28, and the Triple Threat is 32.
Yeah, Triple Threat is 12 on this one.
Okay. Oh well, dropped off dramatically.
Rock Hogan is 11 on this list.
I think it's going to be top 5 on.
It's going to be so funny.
I legitimately think it's going to be top 5 this year's list.
I think so too.
You know what? They got to have Roman and Cody is going to be top 10. Like they got to have something from the super modern, which would basically be since that list was created in 2019. And you got to have Roman somewhere here, even though like his WrestleMania matches aren't like great, but Roman and Cody is such a revered match and had, of course, the Marvel ending and everything. I mean, they got Roman and Rock against Cody and Seth at 20 on this year's list. I think Roman and Cody's probably going to be like number 10.
So funny. Jericho HBK make the list. Did it make this year's list? I know it's on this 2019 list.
No, it didn't make this year's list.
Oh, okay. Jericho HBK is on this list. I saw them face to face in this thing. Where is it? Jericho HBK. Shawn Michaels. Jericho HBK was 20 on the 2019 list. Michaels is all over this list, which Mr. WrestleMania, you'd expect that. Yeah. And the Angle Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie, 17 on the 2019 list.
Like it's a good match, but
I think the reason it was regarded as such a high match is because it was Ronda's debut and there was so much on it about like whether or not she'd actually be good. And like the people in the match made her look really, really good, and it helped catapult her to the actual success she had in WWE. So like I see the reason why they put it on the list. I don't think that it's like a top 10 match, but like it has its reason to be on a list like this, at least with like the career trajectory of Ronda Rousey at the time.
Yeah. It's just hilarious that it's on the list. Like,
oh, absolutely.
At all. Like, it's just very funny. It's like, but Triple H and Sting is on this list, and it's like, is that one of the 50 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time? Like, the match honestly wasn't that great. And then they did dumb stuff with DX and NWO, and then Triple H won. Like, it's a pop match, which is fine.
I see SP3 mentioning, that was the best match, was the tag match that we were just talking about. Best match live for WrestleMania 34 was the Rousey match. Because again, like it was her debut and it was a moment for sure.
Do you think they have to, I mean, they can't fully do this, but do you think they pick at least one match out of all the WrestleManias as well? Do you think that's like part of the, maybe it's not the criteria, but like it's part of the thinking of, we got to show that there was like one great match at every single WrestleMania?
You could, but what are you going to do for like WrestleMania 1? Is it going to be the tag main event?
Oh, they put that
they
on
already
there.
did it.
It's the tag match, yeah.
Because it wasn't much of a match itself. Yeah, they could do that. Do they put something on from 2? The cage match, Hogan and Bundy? Is that what they're going to do?
That's the thing, is there's been nothing from 2, and 2 is a WrestleMania that ain't got a whole lot going on for it. And I don't feel like there's anything from 2 that should be in like the top 16, which is what we're at now. Like there's
I don't think they care much for 2 beyond the fact that they were like, we did 3 different time zones in 3 hours.
Yeah, I think if you were going to do something from 2, you would probably do the cage match, and then that would have been way further down on the list though. That wouldn't be top 16. Yeah,
3 you got Savage and Steamboat, you've got Hogan and Andre, you've got at least those 2 matches to go from.
4 wasn't great either. There's not like,
was that the tournament? That was
the tournament. Yeah. There ain't too much to go off of 4.
There are going to be a few years where you're just like, okay. So 5, you got Mega Powers Collide, and there are other matches on there that could probably make it. But
I think Mega Powers Collide is already, that's there. That's at 27.
So I don't think so. Maybe not. Maybe they'll skip a couple of them. So 2 and 4 for sure. 6.
9. What are you gonna have from 9?
Yoko and Brett.
Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez, brother.
It's just gonna be, you know what? It's gonna be Bobby Heenan coming in backwards on the camel. That's what it's gonna be.
411 Mania used to do this basically like a puzzle game every year. It was a very good idea, by the way. Like I think it'd be very fun to do if I had like time to sit down and like do it. But what they would do is basically something like this: you have to pick a match from each WrestleMania, but you can't use the same wrestler twice. So now you're gonna you can't overlap there. You can't overlap like titles either. So if you're only going one world title match, you got to go with whatever that world title match is, and then you can't use the world title again. Like if you're going Intercontinental, you can only have the one Intercontinental title match, and then you can't use it again. And so it was basically like create like a 10 match card using this criteria of you can't like double up a WrestleMania or whatever the event was, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. You can't double up on wrestlers, and you can't double up on titles, and like create the best card you can possibly create with that kind of format.
It's a good idea. I like it. We should hit a couple super chats because the people have been speaking. We'll start. Here we go. We'll start with Cyclops better than Wolverine. The favor is Roman to help Punk move.
That's a good favor. Moving sucks. Like if you can get someone who can like help you do that, that's actually a good favor.
Is there going to be pizza? No, this is a favor, not a friendship invitation. Damn. All right, I'll order the pizza then. Good for us. That should be the favor. He gets pizza. Get the guy who stabbed Cena in the club, says Will Chisholm, for the angle for the WrestleMania After Dark. That guy does work for the company. You could easily bring him back. I'd like that very much. Kim Gray asking, did Punk know ahead of time what the favor would be, or if he's got the main event? I assume if it's the main event conversation, like he probably did, because you don't just throw them out there and do a contract signing and not have him do the acknowledgement and then say, get into sarcastic mode and then say that's not the favor. I think Punk knew. I think Punk was just putting on maybe the moment was a lot for him, or maybe it was just like reacting to it. But I think he knew.
I think it's funnier if he didn't know, and like Paul Heyman was the one who related to him in that moment. And that's why Paul Heyman was telling, when Roman is like, acknowledge me, Heyman is like, don't, because he thought it would be a bad idea that if that's how Punk reacted, but Punk decided to acknowledge him anyway. And then the whole thing was just a shoot, brother. And then Punk said, that's not the favor. And now they have to continue to work around this favor. And there you go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get to lose in a second. Will Chisholm also sent another one. It's a little off from what we were talking about, but he says, I hate the news about Deonna Purrazzo. I think she's a great wrestler and could be a big star in any division in the world with all the hard work she did in TNA. I don't know if you're talking about the news, really, that was just Sean in his Q&A saying that there's not much going on with Deonna right now, then that's all that's really happening. Deonna hasn't announced that she's injured. No one's really said that she's injured or out of action. She's been working independence. She's been taking some bookings. She is okay. So she is physically capable of wrestling. This is unfortunately something that tends to happen with a lot of wrestlers who come into not just AEW. I'm using AEW as an example this time because it's Deonna, but it's happened in WWE. It's happened in TNA. They did it with Ying Lee, where like she was there and then she was gone and now she's back again. This is just kind of where you slot in. And right now, I don't think that Deonna slots in to any of the stories that are happening in the moment. I do think there's room for her, and they should be making room for her. But she's not injured, and she's not going anywhere. They're just kind of trying to figure out what's next for her.
Yeah, we've talked about Deonna for a while of why isn't she doing a little bit more, and then the Vendetta thing has kind of fallen flat because they haven't done anything with it. They lose every time they're on television. They teased a missing piece, and that went nowhere. And now they're just off TV again.
Yeah.
who knows? I wish they would do more with Deonna. She certainly has the talent that they can do more, and they're putting a lot into the women's division right now. And so that's what makes this even more unfortunate is it just doesn't seem like she's one of the people they've decided to pick and focus on. And they got a lot of talented people. This isn't every booker has the people they want to pick to focus on, and that's who they're going to ride with. Tony has picked his people for this division. I don't think any of the choices are relatively wrong. It's just there are also other people who are there that people would like to see more of, and Deonna is one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully that people start hearing that in AEW and they start giving her a little bit more to work with. See people in the chat being like, she should be in the Owen and she should be Ring of Honor World Women's Champion. Sure, you could do it. The thing with her being Women's Champion in Ring of Honor is not going to get a lot of people seeing. Like, you're not going to be seen as much. You'll be on the show, you'll be wrestling, but if you want to work Thursdays, you can just go back to where you were. And well, the money's different, but I'd like to think that Deonna's going to be given a little bit more than what she has so far, but we'll see where it lands after the Owen. That's my hope, is that something's there for her going into the fall. Lou by Elegance, which by the way, thank you. So good. Hall of Shame WrestleMania matches. Worst WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, but see, I like all of those. So you can't do a Hall of Shame WrestleMania. I think Cody and Roman from WrestleMania 40 is there because Roman should have won. And the Undertaker coming out and doing his old bit, I didn't care for that. So that's in my Hall of Shame. Cody and Roman from WrestleMania 40.
Angle and Corbin. What about that? The retirement match.
That match is dumb. I don't remember. I'm sure it wasn't good, but that match is dumb.
Vince and Brett. How about that?
Now that ruled. Brett just beating the shit out of him with a chair. That was hilarious. Yeah.
That was good. People saying Jimmy and Jay from last
See, that was funny to me. Like, bad matches are funny to me. Like, you can't do like a bad match. Goldberg and Lesnar, I assume you mean the 20 match and not the yeah
33.
But that was again 33 was like a quick little sprint which rolled. The 20 match was hilarious to me because the crowd's just chanting shit at him and they're just both so appalled by it, and then Austin gives them a stunner at the end. Like, bad matches like that are just, I find them hilarious. Like, so that's not Hall of Shame. You know what, like, is actually there for me on top of WrestleMania 40? The Roman Triple H match in Texas that was
32.
5 hours long on top of an 8-hour show. That match is legitimately just like boring and there's no redeeming like funniness to it. It's just a slog of a match on top of a show that was already 5 hours long. So that match is actually there.
That definitely works as well. Yeah. What about Cole and Jerry the King Lawler?
That was again just funny. Like, it wasn't good, but like it was funny that just Michael Cole was in the ring.
Yeah. Oh, SP3 saying Wrestle Talk did a tables, listen, chairs and worst Mania matches, and he's a part of it. So go check that out. There you go.
What do you have on there, SP3? Because like, SP3 actually like rates matches well, and like, he actually would have like bad matches. So he wouldn't. He doesn't have the humor in some of this stuff. Like, he would actually find that stuff like bad. Like, I feel like Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler was on his list because it was like a bad match. But I find it humorous. But I understand why people are like, yeah, that match sucked. Same with the Usos match. Like, yeah, I get why people think that match sucked, but like, I find humor and like, oh, sweet, they're just doing a bunch of super kicks and Jimmy's yelling at his kid to pay attention. This is hilarious to me.
Khali versus Kane 23.
I don't remember that match.
That means it makes the list.
That couldn't have gone like long though, right? Like, I can't put a match on there that also went like 5 minutes. Like, Alexa Bliss Gamer saying Hogan and Yoko. That match is like 2 seconds. I'm not putting that on there. It was such a short, like little match. I can't be like, oh, this match was one of the worst matches of all time.
I get it. I just, yeah.
Like, that's why the Roman and Triple H match is like legitimately there for me because it's like a 40-minute match and nothing happens the entire time. Like that's why it's actually there for me.
Mark Henry versus Ryback.
I feel like that was actually like kind of decent.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it was a nice like little like big man power match.
Melina and Beth Phoenix versus Ashley and Maria. The Playboy Bunny Mania Lumberjill match.
Oh yeah.
WrestleMania 24.
Yeah. All right, SP3. We'll talk about the list tomorrow on the show.
What do you mean?
Nah, Taker and Giant Gonzalez is hilarious. See, that's like a funny match to me.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't get out of that. Oh my goodness. All right, where are we? We were talking about CM Punk.
Redmond Survivors completely. No, the maggots on the canvas, that ruled. Absolutely ruled. Again, this when they do what?
They ran that back twice.
See, when they do dumb shit like that, like that's funny to me. I remember watching that match and thinking it was the funniest thing ever. It just pops up on the canvas. They do like the overhead shot as Randy's got him in the headlock. It just pops. What is this? Do more of this. It's so dumb. Somebody said that Edge and Orton last man standing. Yeah, that's a match that's just like bad, and it's not even like fun bad. It's just long and boring.
It's really hard to add Pandemic Mania matches because it was all empty arena. There was no give and take with the crowd. I agree that the Edge and Orton match, like, it's almost universally panned, but at the same time, I wonder what that match would have looked like if they had been live in front of an actual crowd and doing the things. Like, I wonder what the reaction would have been like, what the spots would have looked like. It's hard to put those matches in because the crowd does play a big role into whether or not a match is deemed successful or at least deemed popular.
It would have been a much different match because they did so much like backstage brawling and stuff that I don't think they would have done in front of a live crowd. Because honestly, if they did that same match in front of a live crowd, I still think it would have sucked because it's so much backstage stuff that, like, who cares when it comes to that? So I don't think that it would have, if they did the same match just in front of a crowd, it still would have been bad. But I would imagine they would have done a totally different match if they had a crowd. Like, they probably would have done something more akin to the greatest match of all time in front of a live crowd. Like, I don't even think they would have added the last man standing stipulation because I think that got added after the pandemic was announced and everything. I think they thought like, oh, we'll do something different because just going out there and just having a straightforward wrestling match in front of no crowd, that's probably not going to go over too well. So let's do something different. But that's also why I kind of punished the match, because they had the opportunity to do something different. They weren't just wrestling in front of no crowd like everyone else on the card, minus the Boneyard match. Like they actually got to play with the environment more, and it sucked that bad. So I actually punish it for the structure and not being in front of a crowd.
That's fair. I like the way you think about it. To me, like I said, I treat Pandemic Mania so much differently because it wasn't like a proper WrestleMania per se. It also brought us to a 2-night WrestleMania, which ruined wrestling. Yeah. Ruined wrestling. Then again, 8 hours on one night were also too much. So there's that. SmackDown. One more thing we got to talk about. How much cooler does this guy look now that he's had glass in his eye? Look at this. Look at this. Drew McIntyre takes the South of Heaven choke slam from Damian Priest onto the hood of a car. And it's not lost on anyone that then CM Punk walks by, sees Drew and laughs.
Yeah, that was planned.
Real glass. Oh, but Drew McIntyre got something in his eye that he had to get taken out. That is legit. Whether or not it was glass, we don't know. But he maintains it was glass. But man, Drew coming out and wearing an eye patch. I hope he comes out tonight in London and has a segment where he's wearing the stupid eye patch. I hope he wrestles the match in the eye patch, and to the point where they're like, his depth perception is off. He can't hit the Claymore, and he keeps missing it because of his depth perception. And then he takes it off at the end, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm screwing with you." And then he wins, and that's how he beats. That's how he beats Damian Priest. That's it. Snake McIntyre, by the way, fantastic call.
I don't think Drew actually got real glass in his eye. I'm going to assume he was working with that. And people are obviously going to run with it the way they're going to run with it. But I don't feel like they were dumb enough to actually do a real glass spot there and risk it this close to WrestleMania. Maybe they did, but it feels like that was a thing of, you know what we can do, brother? We can run this back. London, by the way, first time Punk's been there since All In. So it just felt like they were playing into the lore of Glass and Punk in London.
Drew McIntyre's best friend Jack Perry had him on the phone earlier in the day. "Hey, where are you guys? London? All right, I got this idea for you. It involves a rental car. Say no more. I know what I'm gonna do." And Punk just walks by and be like, "Not my circus, not my monkeys." It would have been funnier if he had been like, "That's my car," but instead, he just walks by. It was very funny. Whether or not it was like glass in his eye, I think about the blend tech guy. You remember those videos? Will it blend? Did you ever watch those?
What videos?
Will it blend? It was a guy
No.
who had like the superpower blender called a blend tech, and
Oh,
he would put the most random shit in the blender to see if this particular blender would actually like blend it. And he would do things like, it was all foods and like fruits, vegetables, meats, whatever. But then he'd do like household objects, like light bulbs and things like that. Yeah, the people in the chat, they know. And then
Okay.
he would take all of these things. He would take the top off, and he would always be like, that's glass particles. Don't breathe that. And then he would like empty the contents onto the table. And that's the first thing I thought about when Drew, was like, that was real glass I got in my eye. I was like, oh, maybe it was like a little something like glass particle in his eye that had to get sucked out. So like, I don't think it was a shard of glass or anything, but like, it's possible that something got in his eye and he had to have something taken out, like something sucked out. Nothing major though, but he looks good with that eye patch. Let me tell you, the man looks fantastic with his eye patch. He's gonna win that match at WrestleMania now.
I assume he's gonna beat Priest. That was a fun little segment. Like, you know what was not a good segment is that opening segment. What are we doing with Cody and here comes Randy Orton, here comes Drew McIntyre. Aren't you facing John Cena in a couple of weeks at WrestleMania? Like, why do we need Orton coming out and being like, I'm gonna go for the title after I get done with Kevin? And here comes Drew, and like, I'm going for the title. It's like, shouldn't there be more focus on this Cody and Cena stuff? Like, I guess Cody can't do these promos by himself on SmackDown because every time Cody shows up to SmackDown, it's a quick, stupid little thing. Like, he just beat up the Miz. And here he barely got 2 words out before Orton comes out and then Drew comes out and everything. It's like, can Cody just not cut a promo without Cena in the building? Is Cody like does he have no material to reference when Cena's not there? The build for this thing is just kind of sucked. And I hope they do something this afternoon with these two, because that SmackDown segment, I was like, cool. Let me see Randy Orton and Cody. Let me see Drew and Cody. Like, why are we overlooking this WrestleMania stuff? It was weird to me.
So you know why Cody and Randy were brought out there. You know why. We talked about it at the top of the show. And I blame the Europeans for it. They wanted
because they just want to sing songs.
Yeah, they want to do the. They want to show you how hot it is, and those are the 2 hottest things you can put out there at the beginning of the show to like get people invested. Oh, look how invested this crowd is. Look how much they love it, and like fans are just eating this shit up, and people watching at home are like, whoa, they're so into it. And wrestling is so hot. Like that's what that is. They know that everyone's going to sing Cody's theme and they're all going to do the whoa. And then Randy comes out and they're all singing every single lyric to his song, even when the song gets taken, when they fade out. They know. So they play on that. And it's Cody. You got to bring out Cody because he is the guy in the company. So I'm not listen, I'm absolutely in agreement with you that he should be coming out and doing a little bit more than what he's been doing when Cena's not there. Even when Cena's been there, he should be doing more. But also, I fully understand that this European tour run has been in service of one thing, and that is in case you haven't, in case you've been living under a rock, WWE's on fire right now. And they're just like, we went to Europe so that we can show you going into WrestleMania just how important we are and how much you should be watching WrestleMania. Like, this is all in service of building to watching WrestleMania. That's all that this has been. So that's why they did stuff like that. And then I love Orton coming out and being like, I'm going to stab you in your front instead of in your back. And Cody's just like, okay, then see you in St. Louis.
You know why I truly hated this segment, though, don't you, Joel?
Why is that, Jeremy?
Cody's out there in his tracksuit and his pants and his shoes and all this shit, and Drew's talking, and he does that fucking kick to the gut uppercut bullshit. I hate that move.
At least he's not wearing a suit for it.
I hate it so much.
Surprise!
Stop it with this move. Stop it.
He's doing it
like it's a cool counter if someone's going for like a back body drop and he slides down, he hits it. Like, that's fine. Like, I hate it in these like talking segments.
You should probably tag Dustin and let him know.
It looks stupid every single time.
That's fair, but like I said, at least he was wearing at least he wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing the tracksuit, so he was ready for physicality.
I hope he tries to do it to Cena tonight, and Cena just no sells it. Cena's like, this move sucks. It doesn't beat anybody.
That would be very funny. And then, then everyone's going to be like, what does Cena, what do you do that beats people other than the AA? He's going to do the you can't see me, and Cody's just going to drop down and punch him in the face.
Dumb.
Oh, that's the move right there. You know it's going to happen. It's going to be so stupid.
Do you think they mentioned The Rock tonight?
Well, he's the special guest, remember? He's a special guest on Raw tonight.
Yes. They got to have something. Tonight. Like,
I hope so.
They cannot do this same promo that they've done for 2 weeks. They got to have something else. Like, you can't go 3 weeks without mentioning The Rock and why you did it when you did it. Cody can't go 3 weeks without like being upset that John Cena sold his soul in this manner and aligned with The Rock, and being upset that The Rock did this to him. Because weren't The Rock and Cody were allegedly on good terms, right? Like, that's why they shared mana at the Moana premiere, and their mamas drank Moana. There's too many M's.
JBL came in and offered them some Mama Joanna.
Hey, the moms shared Moana. Mana. Maybe they shared.
They did not. No, they did not.
But like, shouldn't Cody be mad that The Rock set him up in this way? I swear, if John Cena just comes out here and is like, gonna win the title, all you people suck, I'll see you at WrestleMania, I'm gonna be so annoyed. Just this hasn't been good. It's a shame, because it should be great on paper. Like, it really should be. And it ain't been there. Just ain't been there.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of been the whole reasoning behind this not being good, is that the promos aren't very good. And also the Cena heel.
No, the promos are like the
first
delivery is good.
Yes, the first one was good, and then we just kind of started leaning back on what we did. And this week we hope that today's promo is not the same thing rehashed. Bring up The Rock. Everyone's saying that. We're not alone. And like maybe again, I go back to it. Like if you tease Punk a bit on this whole thing, you could do that. Tease Punk in the favor. Maybe that's there too. But regardless, I would just have some sort of mention of The Rock. And the only reason I mentioned the Punk thing is because, on socials, you had The Rock being like, "Oh, me and Punk are buddies now. We're best pals. We get along now. We love each other." And so what? Maybe that's because Paul Heyman went to The Rock and said, "Oh, could you make him the number one contender after the match at WrestleMania night 2? Whatever. Put him in the match." Who knows? Just talking out of my ass at that point. But the point is, they need to do something. Bring in The Rock. And he doesn't even have to appear. Maybe he appears on the screen. Maybe it's by orders of the final boss. Something. They need something for The Rock with this John Cena Cody face to face.
It's still hilarious that The Rock just came in swinging Johnson and decided to just blow up a bunch of plans. It rules. It's the best WrestleMania bit they have. At some point, someone's got to get control of that, and not like get control of him, because I'm not sure that's possible. But you've got to explain around what he is doing. And last year they did their best with it, and it helped that The Rock was showing up weekly. This year they're just not even like bothering with it. They're just making you try to forget about everything almost.
Well, that's what they do. Bring out the Men in Black, the thing. Someone will tell me what that is in the chat. I forget what it was, but the flasher, and they'll just be like, "Oh, this wasn't here," and The Rock will be back next year for WrestleMania in New Orleans, and everyone's like, "The Rock will be back next year for WrestleMania in New Orleans to face Roman Reigns." We didn't say that last part. We know, but our headcanon dictates otherwise. That's what wrestling fans do. Speaking of wrestling fans, we should probably talk about the news that dropped on Fightful Select this morning.
Oh,
Karrion Kross is in a contract year with WWE. Sean Ross Sapp has confirmed that Raw superstar Karrion Kross is in a contract year. We've heard his deal is currently set to expire in the summer, and we're working to confirm that. We've not yet heard if he's actively negotiating a new deal. Those we've spoken to in WWE of late have been ecstatic with Kross's ability to get himself over with social media and the angles he's been in on Raw. Kross and his wife were released by WWE in 2021, but were immediately rehired when Triple H gained power with Vince McMahon's first exit in 2022. We'll see where Kross ends up, but he's been having a very, very good showing as of late within WWE and beyond.
He's been good in the backstage segments. He's not wrestled all year, which absolutely rules.
Doesn't need to.
He makes the most of his TV time. I would like it to go somewhere and actually lead to something, and maybe it will, but right now it's just he's speaking in riddles in backstage segments, which is fine, but there's no connectivity to anything. Like the Sammy stuff happened, and then Sammy's been off television since Elimination Chamber. He got split from The Miz. He got done with the Wyatt stuff. He's been talking to AJ, and AJ's wrestling Logan Paul, though. Like, where's the Kross stuff actually leading to anything? It just feels like go out there and keep talking to him, and maybe we'll have a plan by the end of it. But until there's actually something there with Kross, it just feels like throwaway backstage segments. And again, they're good. He does very well with them. I just needed to lead to something.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Karrion Kross hosts the WWE sidecast on Twitch of Monday Night Raw.
That would be terrible. He's good in these segments. I just hope it's going somewhere. That's all I'm asking. And maybe it will. But it's also been months of these little things, and we haven't had anything that proves Karrion Kross is actually pulling some strings and manipulating things. And if he is, it's dropped within a week and people just move on from things. Like, so we'll see if this AJ and Kross stuff actually goes anywhere.
I wouldn't mind Kross doing maybe even some TNA stuff. Again, TNA is not exactly bringing over main roster WWE talent, but if there is anyone who could have a pretty good couple of months run there, Karrion Kross would be one of them. And he's been there. Obviously, the way he left was not on great terms, but things have definitely changed a few times since Karrion Kross, former Killer Kross, has left the company. So I wouldn't mind seeing him do some stuff in TNA if they're gonna keep him and maybe do some partnership stuff. That could work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be other people from NXT coming over. That's fine. The tapings for TNA, by the way, just real quick, very disjointed, but apparently very well connected. So for those who are unaware, well, okay, so connected in that everything felt disjointed by the order that they were taping some stuff, but the way that it was actually formatted makes perfect sense. Because I saw a little bit of the formatting for it, and it was just like things actually will make sense. And the reason for that, I talked about this on post shows, is that they're doing the Unbreakable show while they're also building to their pay-per-view. And Unbreakable's a live show, and so is the pay-per-view. But Unbreakable's like this weird gap in the road because they're doing Impact live or Impact taped and a live TNA Unbreakable show. So they had to figure out what's going to get you to Unbreakable and what's going to get you to Rebellion, the pay-per-view, with making this 2-night TV tapings they just did make sense. And they found a way to do it, but it was a little, if you were live and if you're just reading spoilers, stuff seems very disjointed, but apparently it all makes sense. So that's all that matters. And we got a new title, a replacement title. Spoiler alert, cover your ears if you don't want to hear about it real quick. 3, 2, 1. TNA introduced the TNA International Championship over the weekend. They're gonna have that. It's gonna be a series of triple threat matches to find a winner. I think the winner gets crowned either at Unbreakable or at Rebellion. Regardless, that title will be in play for those two shows. You can take your fingers out of your ears now. You're good. From what I understand, it is their version of an intercontinental or an international championship, and it's a workhorse title, and that's fine. That's great. They could have done so much more with the digital media championship. They should have. They fumbled the DMC.
Isn't that the X Division title?
So by my understanding, so yes, and I asked this question. From my understanding, they want the X Division to be more focused on almost cruiserweight, but still with some bigger dudes in there. Whereas because X Division now has not been considered a workhorse championship. Like right now, the way it's been positioned, it's been kind of a younger guys going after it with Moose holding it, and Leon Slater is probably going to win it, and so they're trying to make it so that it's the next gen title, which is something that was GFW. Anyway, the point is it's more of a flippy do title, which is how I could kind of put it, and people will understand. The International Championship is supposed to be more like an intercontinental championship. Someone in the chat saying Macklin is as the first international champion. Like, I wouldn't hate that because we know the work Macklin does. Same thing with Santana, but Santana's eyes are on the world championship. Like, there are people in the company that deserve a title that is based on their wrestling ability, and that's the main goal of it. So like, I see it. I still think calling it the International Championship is not the play, but that's just me because you already have one and it's on the bigger company.
Yeah, but there's only so many names. Like, what are you going to call it if you don't call it the International Championship?
And that's the pushback that I got from people in TNA. It's like, what else are you going to call it? And I was like, that's the thing. I don't know, but calling it after the other company's version, like, I don't know, but it could have been different.
Like, you can't do Intercontinental. You can't do North American. You can't do United States. You can't do International. You're gonna do they should have done what was the original name for the international title? The All Atlantic, wasn't that?
Yeah, the All Atlantic. They should have just the Intergalactic title. They could have called it the International Canadian Heavyweight Championship because that's really what it's all folding into. Thanks to PCL.
They should have called it. They should have called it the Nonstop Action Championship.
The NA. The NA.
The NA, yeah.
The global championship's not bad. Again, you're picking
Jeff
from
Jarrett's suing the shit out of them if they did that.
the globally forced championship.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you could have called it. That's the problem. Like, I get it. We didn't get fired by Anthem title.
They should call it the Owl title.
Just to have Rebby come back and yell,
Yeah.
Owl.
Just to have Revy just fucking bury it.
Like, again, TNA has done multiple championships that they've come in and activated, deactivated King of the Mountain title, the Immortals title. Like, I get it. It was just
Immortal title. That's what I was thinking of. What was their dumb like Legends title? Yeah, the Immortal.
That was the Immortal title. Yeah, that was the Jeff Hardy title. Yeah, it's it just felt weird to do the international title. I don't know what else you could have called it. The action title.
I just told you. No,
I know the nonstop action title.
The nonstop action title.
That's what the X Division title should be.
Well, you can't rename that the X Division title. It's got too much history.
They should call it the Y Division title.
And then you're going to get into like a chromosome thing. So I don't know if you want to do all that.
Fair. Well, that's just when the X Division and the Y Division get together and work. Then you start the X Division and Y Division tag team champions, and people get real confused.
Then you get the Z Division. So it's people like under a certain age.
But when they get the Gen Z division, but then when they go across to Canada, is it then the Z division? Or if they go to the UK, does it become the Z division? The TNA Z title. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. The Geological Championship. Oh, but anyway, that's the thing. Again, like, that's why y'all are in the same camp as I am. It's like, what the hell else could you call it? But at the same time, I'm like, what? Just not that. Why did we do this? Yeah, Live Glass is like the Y Championship. As in, why the hell did we make another championship? They're decommissioning the digital media title. Like, that's really what it is. This is replacing the DMC, which is fine. Again, that's a title that had so much potential from the moment Jordan Grace won it. And people were like, you could have matches on your OnlyFans and have people pay to watch a match that you release early on your OnlyFans. You can tape them on Twitch or not tape them. You can have the matches air live on Twitch during tapings and just go live for that particular match and then pull it and then show it on the Thursday. Like, there were so many cool ideas you could have had, and they didn't do it. So they ran themselves into the ground with the DMC title. Could have done more. Could have done more.
I thought that when they did the digital media title, because like Cardona won it. Was he the first?
Jordan Grace was the first.
Oh, Jordan Grace. Okay. But like when Cardona won it, I thought that's when, okay, they can really do something with this. And it just never became a thing. Like, it was the digital media title, but they didn't do anything digital media with it. Like, it was just weird. No, they never put any stock into that title. So until they put some stock into this new international title, we shall see. The moment I said, oh, this title doesn't mean shit, was when Rich Swann won it, and he was the third champion. He beat Matt Cardona for it, and I'm like, Rich Swann, who famously doesn't have any social media, is now the digital media champion. Like, what are we doing here? So that was the moment. He also won it at a Revolver show. Over Mania, which is fine if Rich Swann wins it there, because then it's like, oh, see, this title can go to like other promotions, and like that's a cool little thing. But like when Cardona did like nothing with it, like Cardona rarely posted that he had this thing, and I don't know if that was their call, his call, whatever it was, but like, when he did nothing with it, it was like, oh yeah, they ain't going far with this title.
They had a TV championship. I forgot about this. Yeah, there was a TNA television championship.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It ran for 4 years. Booker was the first champion, and it went all the way. And then the last champion was Lashley.
Okay, sure.
Oh, that's when Lashley won like all the belts. Yeah, when he won the World and the X Division championships.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so they had a TV title. It could have been the television championship. That's your workhorse title back in the day. Back in my day. Anyway. It's fine. It is what it is. Yeah, that's what they renamed the Legends title. Became the TV title. Should have just been the TV title again. Bring it back. Ruined everything. Anyway, we got a few minutes left. Anything else from Collision that we want to talk about? I mean, Kevin Knight is officially signed to AEW. I thought that was fantastic news. We have an interview with Kevin Knight from back in the day on our channel. You can go back and watch, where I talked to him about the time I pitched him on ordering Osmos at an Impact event, and he took me up on it, and he enjoyed the food. So I can say I have influence with Kevin Knight. But good for him. He rules.
Kevin Knight's been on this show before.
That's what I said. Okay. We have an interview with him in our archives.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about a separate interview. My bad.
No, I'm talking about ours, where I told him about what to order at Osmos in Toronto for food.
Yes. That happened on this show. I can't remember all the interviews we've done, Joel. It's been a lot. I just remember he was on this show.
He was. So now he's with AEW. Very excited for him. This was something that was kind of talked about, expected, and he's going to fit in great. When I saw him come out on Saturday and he had the New Japan Pro Wrestling logo on the back, I was like, I feel like he's not there anymore. But also, he could still work New Japan given this deal with AEW. They have the partnership. So it made perfect sense for me, or for Kevin at least, to want to do that. And I thought it's a good spot for him to land in AEW. And a great match with Jay White to start it off with his official signing.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone just being like, Kevin Knight's all elite. And then like, is he? You sure?
Tony Khan's back being like, shit, I got to make the graphic.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone just went into business for himself. He's like, fuck it. That kid was impressive. He's all elite. And Tony's like, someone graphic team, come on, create this thing for me. We can't have Tony out there just lying to the people. So I hope that's how it went down.
Yeah, good match with Jay White. I like Jay White afterwards being like, that was your cue to leave, but I guess they don't want you to stay. Kevin Knight's just hanging out in the ring.
This, by the way, was hilarious when they announced. Like the Kevin Knight thing was one thing because you could have just chalked it up to Tony Schiavone just being like, he's just saying like he's all elite, but he didn't like realize what was going on. And then they said it. Then they announced it on social media afterwards. Like that was fine. That the way they ordered that was it made Cole and Garcia just look a little dumb, honestly, because it's like they've already announced this match. WWE does this too. So they'll announce like tonight we're gonna have like I want to do this match. It's like, yeah, they announced this on social media like 2 hours ago. Like, what are you doing saying you want to have this match? But it made them just look dumb. Like it took all my interest out of the segment because they're like, we should fight again. Oh yeah, but no people at ringside, no interference, and no time limits. Like, yeah, that was literally announced as Adam Cole was making his entrance. Like, this has already been confirmed. What are you doing agreeing to all of this? That was a screw up. Whoever put the graphic up first and had Schiavone basically confirm it was like somebody screwed that up because that should have aired after they agreed to all that. It clearly, like the live crowd didn't see that portion of it because the live crowd still reacted really well to the segment. So there was at least that. But me watching at home, I'm like, yeah, they just announced this like 2 minutes ago. Like, good job, guys. You have agreed to something that has already been official. Awesome.
I did catch that. I had a good time with it, though. I'm looking forward to the match. Like, people were into it.
Like Garcia was definitely made out to look not so great because he's like, oh, I don't know if we should, or sort of Garcia, but also Matt Menard who's like, don't do it, Danny. Don't give him another match. Like, it's already agreed to. Stop it, Menard. Quit trying to tell him to not give him another match. The match is already agreed to.
Well, maybe he wanted to pull it back. Maybe he just like Henry saying, I thought of Joel when I saw it. I'm like, I just got over it. I was like, I saw it and I was just like, that's what they're going to do. Huh? All right. It's not the most egregious thing I've seen them do.
No, it wasn't bad or anything, but it was just funny of like, oh, okay. You guys messed this one up, but you know, what can you do?
Wheeler Yuta beats Dax, which fantastic.
By the way, we were correct on Claudio and Cope.
Yes. And that segment, by the way, was very fun. I did enjoy we'll go back to Dax and Yuta in a second. Claudio making the challenge for Cope. I thought he did this silly like, oh, you lost your edge and now you have to cope. And I was like, someone fed you that stupid corny ass line.
That line sucked. That line sucked. Sorry, Claudio.
It was not good. It was very much like that was a very WWE line. Moxley does his little shtick, but he's becoming funny Mox again in a way, which was fantastic because he turns to Marina Shafir, who starts speaking a little bit in oh my god, where's she from again? She's Slovenia, so she's speaking Slovak. Anyway, she's speaking in her native language and then does it in English and effectively says, like, I'm going to rip out your liver and feed it to you. And Moxley's just like, oh shit, I'm going to walk away from this now because I'm scared. Opening the promo with, I was the only women I've been afraid of, or the only people I've been afraid of in my life. My mother, my wife, and my mother, my sister, my wife. And then I met Marina Shafir. I was like, oh, Moldovan, thank you. Yeah, he says, I've only been afraid of these women. I loved it. That part was fantastic. And then his reaction to Marina's promo on Willow. I'm really hoping that Marina shows out on Wednesday night. We haven't seen a lot of Marina Shafir in the ring. We've seen her do some blood sport stuff, but like wrestling matches, she hasn't done a lot of wrestling. I'm assuming that she's been working and practicing, but this Wednesday, I'm sure the pressure's on for her, but I really hope that we see something out of her that gets more people wanting to see more Marina Shafir in the ring, and especially if she's going to talk like that and talk a big game. It's good.
I liked the Moxley reaction to stuff. I didn't the line that Claudio hit was okay. What are we doing? But yeah, that was a good little backstage segment for all of them, and the mixed tag match should be something. I hope it's good.
Me too. Dax gets defeated via roll up by Wheeler Yuta, and then Dax is having a bit of a meltdown to the point where Cash comes out and they do the silly, the tag team partner pushes their tag team whatever, and it's like everyone just jumped on the FTR's gonna break up. Oh my god! And I'm like, no, they're not. They're gonna become a united front. Cash is going to be on the same team as Dax, and it's going to be another misunderstanding, and we're just going to move forward. Dax and Cash are not singles wrestlers full time. It's just not a thing. They are very tag teamy, and this is just a moment. But when I saw people being like, they're going to break up, what are you going to do with them and cope? And oh my god, it's like we're just kind of teasing something for the pay-per-view when they don't win the trios titles, and then they just turn on cope, right? Like that's what we're doing here. It was a moment, but I thought it was cheesy to do the dissension in FTR. Dax sucks.
And there's been the dissension. I still think Cope is the one turning after all of this. And I don't have a ton of interest in FTR just in general. So this was not a segment for me. I'm the wrong person to try to analyze this segment because I just don't have a whole lot of interest in them. If they split, okay. Dax loses all the time as a singles guy, so I don't know what that is going to accomplish. I think Cash can have a decent run as a singles guy if they want him to, but I think they're better as a team. I just don't have a ton of interest in them in general as a team. So,
did you talk about Von Wagner last week?
I think we mentioned him, but like, what are we supposed to talk about? He was a security
rules because he's the best,
okay.
And he also had a match at Ring of Honor, so good for him. I'm sure the 12 people who watch it, all of this to say, just put Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly back together. Give them a bonfire segment. Let them be best pals again. Let them go hunting. Put them back together. Von Wagner, Kyle O'Reilly. You see the vision.
They could be doing worse things with Kyle O'Reilly, I guess. He doesn't.
Hear me out.
Just chilling.
Vaughn and Kyle O'Reilly face off against Big Bill and Brian Keith this week on Dynamite. Winner gets the tag title shot at Dynasty. Destiny? What was Destiny? Anyway, They get it at Dynasty. At Dynasty, sorry, Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly, they win. And it's Von Wagner, Kyle O'Reilly against the Hurt Syndicates at Dynasty. They win. Wagner, O'Reilly, new tag champions. That's the way it should go. They've already buried Big Bill and Brian Keith. They're bitches. The MVPs already
won.
Who did they really beat? They beat themselves.
Fair. I mean, yeah, their victory is sure. I like that they're trying to do something in the kind of the undercard tag division stuff, with the Crew and AR Fox and Nick Wayne and everything. Like, I like that. I just wish they would have people who have won a couple of matches, so I would feel a little bit more invested in what was going on. And the Crew, have they still not wrestled? Are they still just like they're just hanging out, but they don't wrestle? Yep. Karrion Kross ass gimmick that they got going on AEW Collision.
There's no way that they have not wrestled. They haven't.
They have. They wrestled Private Party in January. That's it, and they lost.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's how you know they're gonna win. No, this just gives credence to the whole MJF gets jumped out of Hurt Syndicate, and Crew joins MJF. Wouldn't that be awful? I'm here for it.
MJF makes some bad business decisions as far as who he aligns himself with, but I feel like the Crew would be an all-time bad business decision. I like Leo Rush. Leo Rush is great.
Yeah.
But they just ain't got a whole lot of equity into Leo Rush or anything.
So who's the third that joined Crew to take on Top Flight and AR Fox at 0 Hour?
I hope AR Fox just turns again.
He joins the Crew. They give him one of those big spiky jackets.
Yeah. I legitimately thought he was going to on Saturday.
It did look like it.
Yeah, I just think AR Fox is going to turn again.
But they still need a 6-man. I assume it's going to be, unless they're going to do a tag match on the 0 Hour and then AR Fox costs, Top Flight the match and joins Crew.
Yeah, that's what they should do.
I just figured they would just add one more to Crew and make it a 6-man, just because that's what they like to do with these situations. But I just don't know who would join Crew.
Blake Christian.
No, you got Shotty Lee Johnson and Blake Christian together. You can't do that.
Well, you know what the Crew needs.
I'm vanilla, baby.
True.
Somebody, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Lucha Blog. They're like, you got Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Like, they just need to find someone with red hair and call themselves Neapolitan.
They have red hair.
That's good.
Oh, Blake Christian has red hair though.
Yeah, but you gotta get someone with more red hair. You gotta get true ginger out there.
Crew's gonna get Kevin Knight.
Kevin Knight would be good. Like that's fine. I think
Kevin Knight coming out wearing that big fucking jacket.
They should wrestle in those jackets.
They should. When they had the tuxedo variant, that was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, who could fit as the 6th man for this 6-man tag that they're gonna do?
Why did they just do like Nick Wayne? Because
could be Nick Wayne. Because Nick Wayne and AR Fox, and then yeah, that's true. They could do that. Yeah. It just feels weird to loan out Nick Wayne for that match.
Yeah. Nick Wayne's got to prove himself,
That's true. He's been useless. Anyway, I thought again, Collision was good. People pointing out that the women were featured once again on AEW programming. That's good stuff. I'd like to continue seeing that build. It's very clearly working for fans of the show, and hopefully it continues to bring in more eyeballs to their product, because they have a deeper women's division, and they're starting to put a little bit more behind it. So there's some good storytelling. I like it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have. I mean, we can talk about the Mercedes stuff and Athena with the Owen and all that if you want to get into it, but otherwise we can preview Raw. Do you want to talk about Athena and Mercedes, or do you want to save that for Tuesday? Come Tuesday.
We talked about they had a confrontation, and we'll see if they end up meeting in the Owen Hart tournament, or if they just do the match at Dynasty. What if the Dynasty match is going to be part of
the
the
cup.
Owen Hart tournament. Yeah.
Kind of what I thought it would be. And then that way they also don't have to put any titles on the line because they'd rather save that for later.
Yeah. Well,
If
so
they do.
I'm not fully ruling out that they do the match at Dynasty and it's for the Owen Hart tournament. And Mercedes wins. And that sets up Mercedes and Athena at the ROH pay-per-view.
They got to sell out that Boardwalk Hall somehow.
Yeah, I mean, if they're doing Jericho and Bandito at Dynasty, you assume Bandito is going to win that because the mask is on the line. So unless they're going to run back Jericho and Bandito at that pay-per-view too, but that's not a bigger match than Mercedes and Athena. Like, I realize that's a rematch as well, but they ain't got a whole lot going on otherwise. Like, what's your ROH title feud if you don't run back Jericho and Bandito at that show?
You ready for this? Big Bill or Brian Keith and Jericho.
Oh, okay.
You can do the breakup of the learning tree. One of those two guys going for that. And to me, I do it with Brian Keith just because I think he fits more with being a Ring of Honor champion. If Ring of Honor is supposed to be more developmental, not that Brian Keith is quote developmental, but at least he can anchor a brand if you give that character the opportunity. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, is if you do it, that's the way. I still think it would have been Powerhouse Hobbs at one point, but they kind of brushed that to the side, at least for now. Hobbs and Jericho.
Yeah. That Bandito and Brian Keith ain't marquee. Neither is Bandito and Big Bill. Like, Athena and Mercedes is way bigger than both of those matches. Diamante and Athena is not marquee. Sorry. Just not.
No, you do better with Athena and Mercedes Martinez. I like Mercedes Martinez. I just think she's over Diamante for that. We'll see. That is a show that's in May, and they got to tell a few stories to get there between now and the beginning of May. So you got a month to build. It's going to come up quickly. They got to figure it out. But I don't know. Is Jericho and Bandito, that is officially for Dynasty?
I mean, Jericho issued the challenge. I don't know why they're just going to hold it off for another month. They should, but
they have done it before.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be for Dynasty.
It's going into the Dynasty. Don't bring me the tickets. I just want this. Oh, stop bringing me to the tickets. Anyway, I was going on the AW website and going to the Dynasty thing, but it didn't show me what I wanted. It was trying to bring me to tickets.
Oh, well.
Oh,
did you get your tickets?
No, I have other things going on.
Get your tickets to AW Dynasty.
It is currently not listed.
All right.
You've got the 3-way, the TNT title, the world title, women's title, and trios title. This is already a 5-match card. So we'll see where it goes.
Already a 5-match card. They're going to add like 12 more matches this week.
Oh, I'm aware of what they're going to do on Wednesday. Wednesday, they're going to add at least 4 more matches, and then they'll add a buy-in. Where's Big Bill? What's he? Not Big Bill. Where's Big Boom AJ? What's he up to?
I don't know.
Calling out MJF.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the story. The Hurt Syndicate come out with MVP, and Bobby says, we've been thinking we do need a 4th guy, but it's not MJF. And M is just like, I'll always listen to you. What are you thinking? And he brings out Big Boom AJ. And he says, this guy can bring us to new heights. He can be our guy. Big Boom Hurt Syndicate. And then they bring out the Rizzler, and M is like, I'm sold. That's it. Big Boom Hurt Syndicate.
The boom has been deleted from our videos.
That's very upsetting. I was hoping you would play it.
Yeah, well, I was looking for it.
I know.
Why did the boom get deleted?
Maybe we ran out of space because we have a lot of videos here.
Well, delete some other stuff. I'm now deleting some other stuff, but
all right. Are you deleting Mac and Me? You can delete Mac and Me.
Yeah.
Tenru's also adding in doing all women's collision TK. They're on fire. I mean, you can argue that this was not all women, but like when the women are the focus of the show, I don't think you need to just make an entire show based on the women just to get the women out there. Like you need a strong multiple stories to make it happen. I'm happier when the women are the through line focus of a show more than I am just having all the women on one show just because. Make it important. Don't make it just happen because you want bodies. Henry telling me to buy a ticket to Dynasty and just not show up. No, Kate's already going for Fightful, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to be... yeah, and my mom's coming to town this weekend, so I don't think I'll be here. Unless I could use an excuse to leave town. I'm not going. I don't want to go to Philly.
Oh, it's in Philly?
Yeah. There's no street fight, so how am I going to know where this show is?
He's not on the card.
He's not on the card. Not yet. Yeah, like Senior Nerd's saying, do an all-women collision to counter Evolution 2. If the stories get you to that point, then sure, do it. My mom has been to a wrestling show. I took her to Impact Emergence. She sat there. They were like, my entire family came. It was very random. It was not. It was very.
Well, that's weird. Your problem.
I know. It was like my brother and his now wife, my mom and my dad came, and I was there. It felt so awkward, and it was at Rebel Nightclub, which is a nightclub, as you've deciphered from the name. And like they had seats, but they were sitting in like their VIP lounge area, which is a general seating place. Great seats. It was fine. They treated us very nice. Shout out to TNA for that, or Impact at the time. And then I'm sitting there, and by the way, this is the same show where I met Kevin Knight and we're had the Osmos conversation. So my folks are sitting over here, and I'm sitting over there, and I'm sitting with like all the wrestlers who just keep coming out and like sitting down on the couch because it's close to the ramp, and it's very awkward. And that's when Tommy Dreamer came out at one point and was just talking to me about PCO, and I was like, "Well, you have pull. Why don't you stop PCO from doing some of this shit?" And he turns to me and he's like, I'm whatever age I am at the time. This is Tommy Dreamer talking. PCO is whatever age PCO is, and he was older than Tommy. Given my career and the things that I did and the things that he's doing, who am I to tell PCO how to wrestle his matches? And I'm like, that is a very good point, Tommy Dreamer. And then we just talked about other shit. But I'll never forget that stuff. Good stuff. Did you find the video?
No, I didn't find the video. It's probably in my... I just deleted a bunch of stuff off my computer too, so I've probably deleted it, and I just got to recreate it, and I don't feel like doing that right now.
That's fine. So the Boom Syndicate is what I'm getting at here.
Yes,
the Boom Syndicate. Yes. Monday Night Raw is tonight from the O2 Arena in London, England. You can expect the announcement for AEW Forbidden Door to come shortly after the show goes off the air. If not, it'll be at Dynasty. Either way, that's the reason. By the way, that's why you haven't heard. The O2 being the host to WWE programming is the reason why we haven't heard Forbidden Door being at the O2 yet. They'll either announce it at Dynasty or they'll announce it on Wednesday. Either way, it's coming. But tonight on Raw, 3 p.m. Eastern, you can watch it on Netflix. Big Jim takes on Gunther. Slap heard around the world. Gunther's going to slap him right back across the chest. He's going to tear that shirt off Big Jim. Just give him a little chop right on the face. Face and chest. That'll be fun. Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor taking on Braun Breaker and Penta in a tag match that I'm sure won't devolve into 4 men beating the shit out of each other in the name of the Intercontinental Championship. They'll make that match tonight for WrestleMania. The New Day, who are they going to face? They are in action. Jackson.
Well, they face someone they can beat, and so they actually do something halfway decent with New Day going into WrestleMania.
So I assume it's going to be like the Alpha Academy. Or American Alpha, one of those 2 teams, because there are no more teams on Raw, unless they bring in like 2 guys from Progress.
Maybe.
The New Day defeats Simon Miller. And
that would actually roll.
It would be very funny.
Yeah, that would actually roll.
We'll bring Simon on the show if that happens.
Yeah.
And SP3. It's Simon and SP3. Best night of our lives. Logan Paul calls out AJ Styles, and I really hope AJ Styles comes out first just to get back at when Logan Paul did it to AJ Styles back at Madison Square Garden. John Cena and Cody Rhodes are face to face, so you know that they're going to talk a lot about WrestleMania and not The Rock, but they better talk about The Rock. And presumably the main event, the Women's World Championship, Bianca Belair is a special guest referee. Hopefully she's learned how to count 3 on the mat. It's going to be Io Sky defending against Rhea Ripley. Either this continues the triple threat match for WrestleMania, or Rhea wins and we're back to square one with Bianca and Rhea. I would like it to become a singles match.
I think Bianca just like disqualifies them both, or Rhea gets in her face and she disqualifies Rhea and it sets up a triple threat. I don't think either of them are losing. I think it just evolves into madness, and that's how we get the triple threat out of it.
I could see that. We'll find out. That's tonight or this afternoon, Raw, 3 p.m. And I know
It's
before we head out,
hours.
It is less than 3 hours. Yeah. Before we leave, we should probably talk about Cole Radrick, our pal, our dude.
I don't want to talk about Cole Radrick.
Well, then I will. Our dude, our guy, our pal, unfortunately tore his ACL this past weekend. They ran an injury angle on GCW. They dropped the tag titles, did the Garbage Daddies to VIF. I'm sure Jensen and Jeremy will talk about that more on the Spotlight on Thursday. But unfortunately, we found out in the process that Cole Radrick is injured and is going to be out for quite a few months, possibly more than the last injury. It sucks. There is a GoFundMe that's out there for him, for people to be a part of if you can. We're hoping that when Cole is feeling good and ready that he'll come and join us as he normally would on the show. There was something else. I just want to triple check that it was in there about his GoFundMe. Where is it? That's not it. I just opened some random GoFundMe. What's wrong with me? Sorry, I'm looking for it here. I'm taking directly from the GoFundMe. So Cole Radrick recently suffered a devastating knee injury, tearing his ACL and meniscus during a workout. He's facing surgery this Thursday and a 7 to 9 month recovery that takes him out of both wrestling and his day job. As if that wasn't enough, after informing his employer about the surgery, he was unexpectedly let go. His health insurance runs until March 31st. No job, no income, no coverage, and a long road ahead. And then it goes on to basically say Cole doesn't want people to have to give him money for this, but he is deserving of it given how he helps others and supports others. So again, if you have the means, please think about supporting the GoFundMe. We will post it in the comments here after the video. We'll put it in the comments of the video and also on our socials so that y'all can give back if you can to Cole.
So I saw this angle on Saturday night. I saw that VIF won the titles and that Cole got injured. And the first thing I did was message Cole. And first I was like, are you working or shooting? Like, are you actually injured? Like, what's going on here? Because you never know. And he gave me the scoop on everything. And I didn't say anything because it wasn't my place to say it. He said he was going to say something anyway, and he did. So I was like, all right. And then we had a good conversation on literally like 5 minutes after I guess he got to the back, because he messaged me back pretty quickly. Bless Cole. But we had a good conversation about things, and he's in the best of spirits one could possibly be in, given everything. I told him if he wants to, he can write wrestling news for a living if he needs a job, because because of everything. He's like, I don't know if I'd be any good. I told him, it can't be worse than some of the people out there. Cole, can't be worse than some of the people out there. Hopefully we'll have Cole on the show whenever he's ready. He's more than welcome to pop on. And yeah, getting fired with everything going on. Jason said he might have legal standing. I wondered the same thing of like, can you like sue? Like, is that a thing you can do? Because it doesn't feel like they can do that. And I'm sure he's pursuing avenues if they're at all possible. It sucks. I thought something was a little amiss on as far as why I thought like it was a shoot and not a work on Saturday. Because one, GCW doesn't run like a ton of injury angles like this. Usually if they're going to do like an injury thing, the person is actually injured. Two, I thought something was amiss because Friday night, Janela announced Garbage Daddies against VIF ladder match for spring break for the tag team titles. And by Saturday morning, that had been pulled. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. What's going on here? And then Saturday night, VIF win the tag titles, and it's like, and Cole gets taken out. It's like, oh, okay, that's why that got pulled. That's why this switch happened. Yeah, this is probably legit. Of course, I messaged to just confirm everything and check on Cole more than anything. So it sucks. Cole came back from leg injury this past year, and he had the GCW brass ring, and could have been in line for a title shot and possibly cashing that thing in. Could have been in line to be the champion. Him and Alec Price just won the titles at Hammerstein, and that was a big moment, and they were having a good run with the titles, and it's unfortunate that that run is now over. So I love everything. Look, Cole's one of the best dudes that I've had the pleasure of meeting and knowing in this space. He's always been very kind to us. He's always been very personable and chatty. He's helped us out in a lot of ways, and we appreciate Cole. So it sucks. We'll continue to update. I hope he gets well, and he'll hopefully be popping on and when he wants to just talk and bullshit and things like that. So yeah, send your best wishes to Cole. I asked for his address. I'm like, what's your address? He's like, are you going to come kill me? And I said, no, like, I want to send you something because, despite my on-screen persona, I actually like you. And he's like, oh, I don't like your on-screen persona anyway, but I like the real you. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So he wants to put me through a table as an on-screen persona. I might have to just let him do it at this point. Like,
now you do. Now you have to. This was all part of his plan, didn't you know? He had planned to get injured around WrestleMania week, the busiest week of the year, to gain some sort of sympathy so that you would feel bad and then he would finally be able to put you in a table. But money be damned, Jeremy. He just wants to put you through that damn table. But honestly, yes, Cole, I echo everything you said. Wonderful, wonderful dude. Deserves our love, deserves our support right now. So if you can, please consider supporting. If you can't, just share the link. Go on your socials if you're using them and share the link around. They are everywhere you look. Shout out to those who are doing that at least. Yeah. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
It might not be much, but we might do another special on Friday where all super chats and stuff go to Cole's GoFundMe. So we might be able to do that on Friday. I'll see if Cole's having surgery on Thursday, so I don't know if he's going to be in like the mood to join us on like Friday, but I'll send him the link and see what we can do. I want to give enough time to promote it like we did with the Chris Bay show. We at least gave it a couple days instead of, hey, here's what we're doing today. So yeah, maybe Friday we'll do something like that to help out Cole, and hopefully we can get him on the show as well.
I would argue post-show drugs is the perfect time to come and join our show.
Yeah, that's actually true. But,
anything else you got before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I was going to say SmackDown is in like 2.5 hours. Raw is in 2.5 hours. We'll see if this show is any good.
Yeah, we'll sit down as a family and watch it. Speaking of family, today is Trans Day of Visibility. And to our trans friends, hey, we see you, we recognize you, we support you. And hey, there's plenty of y'all welcome at the table, especially in wrestling. So support your friends. Doesn't matter. That's why I end every single show the way I do. You know Jeremy, you know who I am. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. We're back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Cheers.